The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. ysnlive.com, your home for Running Points. Yeah, it's kind of two different ways of saying the same damn thing, but Running Point is presented, of course, by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Is it redundant day and I didn't know it? Are we
Well,
like
it's Captain Redundancy.
Okay.
And he's the first cousin to Captain Obvious.
Oh,
Yeah.
first cousin, not
The
like
first
twice
cousin.
removed. Or
No. First cousin. Captain Obvious and Captain Redundancy are first cousins. So Anthony Hardwig is in the Georgia Tech gear.
Yeah, got it.
He's got his softball
Rainbow
shirt
Black.
on. He's got his hat on, and I'm in the Shield gear.
You're repping the Shield. I
There
like
you
it.
go. With you till 3 o'clock, and a bunch of things that we're going to be getting into. Girls basketball going to take the spotlight on the network tonight. I will have, along with Larry Scragg, we are going to be at Camel. Seems like I was there a couple of days ago. Back on the stage, and it'll be girls basketball, as the Lady Rebels will go into Camel, and they will take on the Camel Red Devils. Again, the game time, estimated time of arrival, 7 o'clock. It's all contingent on the JV game. The JV starts at 5:30. If it's late, if the game is long, that means that the varsity game is going to start after 7. If the JV game was quick, hardly any fouls, no timeouts, clock keeps running, then it's going to start before 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and they do all they can to make sure it gets around 7. You know, that they'll speed up the JV game or whatever because they like that 7 o'clock start time for the varsity. So
Yeah, get everyone home.
It's usually 6:45, 7, unless you get something weird where the JV goes into 3 overtimes.
Yeah.
Which
so,
I've had.
Well, I've gone into one
possible.
overtime, and we actually had an overtime Tuesday night. The boys, Crestview, getting the victory over Camel. The story tonight: Krista Perry is 7 points away from 1,000. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
It's one of those great opportunities for Crestview to bounce back from a tough overtime loss on Monday. So they need to kind of get their team a little bit of a confidence boost, and they have a great opportunity to do that in Camel, especially when they have a teammate scoring 1,000 points. You know, if that were to happen, then it would just give that program a lot of energy.
Speaking of the last time they played, we will have the coach of the team that beat Crestview the last time they played, and that would be Josh Sigler. Josh Sigler will be calling in on the show at 1:30. He is the head basketball coach at United. The Lady Eagles are 3-4, 1-1 in the EOAC. Coach Sigler will be talking about his club, and we'll get his take on United's basketball season. That'll all be coming up at 1:30. Coming up at 1:10 this afternoon, we will be chatting with the head basketball coach for the Western Reserve girls team, Steve Miller. Not related to Steve Miller, the musician, so we will not be asking him to take the money and run, nor will we ask him to fly like an eagle. can't even think of some other songs. We'll just stop the clock
We'll
there.
just stop right there.
Yeah, we'll stop right there. Western Reserve is off to a 3-0 start, 2-0 in the MVAC Scarlet tier. Their last win came at the expense of Jackson Milton in North Jackson.
And expense is a big word.
Yeah, 85-34. He might have taken the money and ran after that game. I'm just saying.
But they were coming off a big win over Dalton, 36-33 over the weekend. So, they were feeling good about themselves. They came into Jackson Milton and they shot the lights out. And Blue Jays never really stood a chance.
Well, they have two really good non-conference games coming up. Indian Creek, and that's tonight.
They're 6-0.
And they're 6-0. That should be a fun game. And then on Saturday, 6 days before Christmas, don't you know, Doylestown, Chippewa. Western Reserve will be traveling to both of these communities, to Indian Creek and to Doylestown. And the combined record of these two teams, 9 wins and 2 losses. So congratulations to Western Reserve. We've mentioned this. If you're playing a game in which everyone is going to be in the state tournament and you know that your team is going to be really good, boost that non-conference schedule. Jack that baby up. Let me see what these kids can do, and kudos to the Western Reserve Athletic Department and Coach Miller for doing just that. Because these next 3 days, because tonight they've got Indian Creek, they'll practice on Friday, get ready for Doylestown, Chippewa. These are 2 good opponents for Western Reserve.
Yeah, and Steve Miller's he has no reforms about who they play. I mean, they played Dalton over the weekend, like I said. They're a consistent regional team in Division 4. Last year, they went and opened the season, I believe, with Cornerstone Christian, who went and won the regional last year. They also played Napoleon at the Classic down in Highland. So their schedule is always filled with as many tough non-conference teams as they can possibly get in there. It's one of the benefits of COVID-19 is you've been able to kind of open up your non-conference schedule a little bit with a bunch of teams having to drop out of your determined slot. You might be able to pick up some games. I don't know if Indian Creek and Chippewa were both already on their schedule before the season started, but there have been several teams that have benefited from adding games against really high-quality opponents because of COVID-19. So if you're trying to find a silver lining, at least you can look at some of the teams these teams have been able to pick up.
Okay, couple more, and then we're off the Steve Miller reference. They won't be taking a jet airliner to Indian Creek. If they win, abracadabra, they'll get ready for Doylestown, Chippewa.
Get him out of your system because he might hang up.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, if the dude is related to the Steve Miller, I'm gonna, hey man, that's all right in my book. But this guy probably knows a lot more about basketball than Steve Miller, the musician.
Probably, and he's probably heard everything, all the Steve Miller jokes and the shoulder punches or the elbows that wink wink nudge nudge.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll have fun with it. But
we're not even going to approach Jungle Love because I have no idea how I can come up with that one. How I can even come close to putting that in a phrase in which it doesn't piss people off. So we'll just let that one go. Speaking of pissing people off, this is kind of hilarious.
What a segue!
Now this is actually kind of hilarious in a very juicy way. So Sunday night, as everyone knows, Browns are playing the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football. Now, what people may not know, Jason Garrett is the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Jason Garrett, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys. Jason Garrett has COVID, and he is unavailable for Sunday night. He is not going to be there. He is completely unavailable. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who is going to be calling the plays for the New York Giants against the Cleveland Browns. And the phrase here is calling the plays. Go back into Browns history in the last, I can't give it away, but this is so freaking great. I'm really looking forward to this. He has a Waffle House menu. For plays. Dude, any guesses? Freddie Kitchens.
Oh, it's okay.
Freddie Kitchens, a.k.a. Bubba Ray, and his Waffle House menu, is going to be calling plays for the New York Giants on Sunday night against the Browns. I think this is, honest to God, I think this is hilarious. And it wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form if Freddie Kitchens calls the greatest game of his life and he gets revenge.
Well, he's already got one hand tied behind his back because Daniel Jones is not 100%. So his legs won't be as much of a factor as they usually are. So there are probably a lot of plays in the Giants' playbook that they just simply can't go to because of him not being 100%. Unless they start Colt McCoy, which I don't think they will.
And again, this would go right into the Browns theme. Colt McCoy. So this would be kind of this has the potential of being a
Sunday before Christmas. It's like the Christmas Carol where the Browns are being visited by hauntings of Christmases past.
Yeah. And we don't want Christmases past. Browns fans are like, no. We kind of like the Christmas of the present now.
Let's go back to the ghost of Christmas future.
Yeah. Right? I don't want any part of the ghost of Christmas past. We've lived there. We don't really want to do this. No, thank you very much.
We don't like that community. We lived there when we moved.
We didn't particularly care for that past, unless of course you want to go way, way, way back in the time machine where Marion Motley and
that's the
Dante Cavelli, or not Cavelli.
That's the ghost of Christmas distant past. It's a different ghost.
Dante Lavelli, Marion Motley, and all of those. Otto Graham. You want to go way, way back, old school back. Okay, people will be happy because from 46 to 56 or 46 to 55, they were in a championship game. Granted, 46 through 49, it was in a Mickey Mouse league.
I was about to say in
a completely inferior league than the NFL.
That league had a little woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah. But from 50 to 55, legit, and not bad. So it was pretty good. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. Freddie Kitchens, the ghost of Christmas past, is coming back to possibly haunt Cleveland Sunday night. This could be fun.
I don't think the Giants' offense is what you have to worry about. I mean, their defense is
Saquon Barkley even healthy?
No, didn't he tear his ACL the week 2?
Okay. Because I think
his ACL is gone. I think he's out for the season.
Okay, because I hadn't heard anything from him. Because
their defense is why that team's where they're at. Where in the playoff hunt, right behind Washington. Both those teams, really, Washington and New York, they both really rely on their defense.
Youngstown State added 8 players to their football roster. Signing day was yesterday. Yep. So some 8 kids went and are now YSU Penguins to steal a line from former coach and now president Jim Tressel. His philosophy when he was the head coach at Youngstown State was the capital, and you stuck a stake into the capital and you drew a 100-mile radius, 100-mile circle around the capital, around the state of Youngstown, if you will, and that's where you get most of your recruits. Surprisingly, there's only one kid from the Mahoning Valley actually 2, because it technically is Alliance part of our family, even though they're in the league that Salem and West Branch is in?
They're not at the moment.
Okay. Well, they play in the league of which Salem and West Branch belong. Carter Kelgren, the 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman from Poland, is now a YSU Penguin, signed on the dotted line. Congratulations to him. Brandon Alexander, the 6'3", 210-pound quarterback from Alliance, signed on the dotted line. The rest of the guys on the outskirts or somewhere very close to the 100-mile radius. Medina would probably be in the back half of the 100-mile radius. Luke Hensley from Medina High School, 6'2", 195-pound wide receiver. Preston Zandier, 6'2", 205-pound linebacker from Pittsburgh. He signed on the dotted line. So there's, 4 kids that are in the 100-mile radius.
4 out of 8.
4 out of 8. The other 4 kids 3 of them are from Toledo, and one is from Cincinnati. Now, obviously, this is a small class, mainly because...
Well, it makes sense, though, especially when you say Cincinnati, because it's Doug Phillips' first year getting recruits.
Yes.
So he's going to go to where, he's recruited in Cincinnati before, so I'm not surprised that he got someone from Cincinnati.
Yeah, E.J. Johnson, the 6'6", 240-pound offensive lineman from Toledo, went to school at St. Francis de Sales. He'll put some meat on his body.
They were in the state tournament.
Yeah, he'll put some meat on his body, no two ways about it. Then a couple of teammates from Toledo Central Catholic, Jay-Sean Rushing, 6'3", 185-pound wide receiver, and Deshaun Tanner, 5'11", 190-pound DB. Both of these kids are coming from Toledo Central Catholic to YSU. Jackson Wassler, the 6'7", 274-pound offensive lineman from St. Xavier, if you will, he'll be coming to YSU as well. So 3 offensive linemen that are pretty big boys. I don't think Kellgren needs to gain another pound. He's at 300, and he's 6'4". The 2 kids that I like, E.J. Johnson and Jackson Wassler, they're 6'6" and 6'7", respectively. Now, E.J. weighs 240. His 6'6" frame can probably gain about 50 or 60 pounds and still be pretty nimble at 6'6". If he was like 6'1", there's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way you could be nimble at 300 pounds if you're 6'1". Jackson Wassler, 6'7". He's at 274.
That's a big boy.
That's a big boy. Both of those kids are big boys, but they can afford to gain a few.
I wouldn't want
pounds.
to cross that in an alley. 6'7", 274. Wouldn't want to cross that one.
I'm a little surprised that there weren't any more kids from the Mahoning Valley that jumped in.
We did have YSN people that did sign yesterday, though. It wasn't. I mean, Jesse Likens signed officially, so for Air Force. So congratulations to him for Warren JFK. I saw Dan Reardon signed for Miami University in Ohio. So congratulations to him. And we definitely had a bunch of players in the YSN family sign yesterday, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, definitely is. And by the way, you don't necessarily have to sign
right,
today.
This is early signing
day. You can wait until February. February is the late signing day, and I got to believe that there might be some folks that will come on board in February, and we'll go from there. I'm going to be curious where Mr. Hollabaugh goes because I think that between he and Marco Ferry, these are 2 kids that, oh my God, somebody's going to be a happy camper when one of these kids signs on the dotted line.
I'm sure he's getting looks from not just football coaches, but he's probably getting looks from basketball coaches too. Because, I mean, we've talked about JFK's basketball aspirations this year. He's a really great basketball player.
Yeah,
and by the way, he's pretty good at baseball.
He's
too,
not bad at baseball.
He's probably getting looks at all 3.
Yeah, he's not bad at baseball.
And he plays in the Class B. So
yeah.
He definitely gets some extra looks in baseball too.
And I'll be really curious to see where we are with the February signing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, to be honest with you, if I were the elite athlete, or if I were someone that who had a son or a daughter who was an elite athlete and everyone was looking to do, look, if you're not comfortable making your decision in December, don't make it. If there's two different dates, and you don't necessarily have to go in December.
These coaches, I mean, there's a lot of respectable coaches out there. I'm not trying to say this like saying that all coaches are terrible people, but there are a lot of coaches that will pressure these kids into making a decision. Like, we need to know right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't make it right now, we have to move on. And I get it, because there are other people that they're looking at. But, these kids kind of rush decisions because they get pressured into them, and that's why I think sometimes you see a kid go somewhere and then decide in the first year, this wasn't nearly as good of a fit as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because coaches are constantly like, we need a decision, we need to know because we have other people, and there's a lot of pressure, especially when you're at that elite level, going to, D1, especially if you're going Power 5 or whatever. There's a lot of pressure to make that decision as early as possible.
See, this is where a parent and a coach need to not take over, but they need to sit back and say, we're not going to rush. This is his decision. his decision or her decision for the next 4 years to spend time in a university that they're going to be comfortable in. And don't you dare tell my kid or tell my athlete that they got to rush, because if you do, your ass is out on the curb, and that's it.
I get where the college coaches are coming from, because
I get it too.
If you don't have any sense of urgency with this kid, and then he says no, and you lose someone else that you're looking at too. As a college coach, your job is to win games, by the way. It's not
Absolutely.
Like you're sitting there and you lost 2 recruits because this kid took, 3 or 4 months to make his decision, and then it didn't go your way. So I get both sides. I think there's a way to handle it. There's a way to let the kid know that, we're really interested. There's a clock on it without, putting the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that college coaches really have to balance.
Yeah. And I just, again, the kid... and hopefully he or she is getting advice from the coach, from the parents, and ultimately it's his or her decision. Right. But hopefully that athlete is hearing from the adults in the room, because believe it or not, the adults have actually not have lived this life where they're not making these decisions, but they've also, some of them may have gone to school and may have a story to tell where you want to make sure that not only is it a good fit for you athletically, even more important, because I don't want to burst your bubble, but 2% chance of you getting to the grandest stage of them all, you want to be able to have a fit with your major or whatever you want to be in life. You want to have that fit every bit as important as the fit for you athletically.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit when Darius Quisenberry was thinking about going to the draft, if you remember. We talked about having people in your circle that aren't afraid to burst your bubble every now and then. Because if you have a bunch of people in your circle that just gas you up, that's going to lead you down a path where you're going to hit the brick wall of reality, and then no one's going to be there to kind of cushion that. So you need a couple of people in your circle that'll gas you up and give you confidence, but you also need people in your circle that'll pop your bubble every now and then and make sure that you're kind of down to earth and you don't lose your head in the clouds.
Yeah, you need people that are going to be
a good mix.
Yeah, you need people that are going to be the harsh reality.
It's like a hot air balloon. You need some hot air, but you need that little valve to control.
Exactly. And if someone is the bad person for being the valve, then so be it. But if they're telling the truth, which that's their job, because you know this as well as I do. There's too many people that will sit back and hangers on, if you will, especially to the elite athlete.
When you start to go, hey, I'm going to go to the NBA. Oh yeah, you go to the NBA.
Yeah, of course, because you're going to be riding the coattails all the way to the NBA. That's why you have so many people that have all of these lackeys that are following this guy or gal into the top stage of sports, because they're hangers
honestly,
on.
That's one of the biggest lessons that the NFL camps and all the professional sports camps have to rookies. Get rid of these people that want your money and only want your money, because so many athletes have gotten all the money and then they lose it real quick because there's so many people that want it and they're giving it, because they feel like they're entitled to it or whatever it may be, or they owe that person.
Yeah.
So one of the lessons they teach really quick is have a very tight circle and don't let a lot of people inside of that tight circle.
Exactly.
When it comes to what you're doing with your finances.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with making your decision or trying to make your decision about going to the next level from high school to college. That's even more important. You get all of your friends that are in one ear and saying, "Oh, you need to go this, you need to go that." You need to basically stand up and say, "You guys aren't going to be spending the 4 years in this school I am. Love you guys, but over here. You're nowhere near me when it comes to this decision, because this decision is going to be mine, it's going to be my parents, and it's going to be my coach, and all together, all of us are going to, hash this over, and ultimately it comes down to the decision of the athlete, but hopefully the athlete is smart enough, if he or she has two parents, to listen to them both. If whatever the situation is, you listen to your parent or your guardian, you listen to your coach, and you go from there. But it's a great time if you're a high school athlete and you're in that position. but it can also be a pain in the ass
Right.
if you're not on top of it and letting other people make their choice for you.
Yeah, and speaking of choices, I just saw today, we're talking girls basketball today, so it's a great time to just say that Struthers Emma Alaya has committed to Mount Union.
There you go.
I mean, if there's anyone in our YSN family that deserves to go to the next level just simply based on their work ethic, it's Emma Alaya. I mean, the work ethic that she puts in to just be the best she can be, it's above reproach. So congratulations to her, Mount Union. That's a great school to go to, and we're happy to see you committed. She's been big dog of the Valley several times over the last couple of years, so we're definitely happy to see her finally kind of committed to a spot.
And the beautiful thing about what you just said, Anthony, is the fact that she works her tail off.
Oh, it's like I've never seen someone work harder than her.
Yeah.
It's if you follow her at all on social media, it's nothing but work, especially during the quarantine. Basketball is one of those sports where individually you don't need a lot to work on your craft.
Exactly.
So every day she was putting up shots, she was dribbling, she was going to work out with one person in a gym or whatever. So definitely one of the hardest workers I've ever seen.
No, it's it just there's this myth, and it truly is a myth that I have talent. Well, I don't have to do anything with that. No. Here's where everyone needs to get a little lesson here. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not working on that talent, daily working on that talent, getting after it with that talent goes away pretty quickly.
And what she's really good at, and a lot of other good players in the area are good at, they're great self-evaluators. So they can watch their own tape, and they themselves can pick out, hey, I need to work on this. That way it's just another thing where the coaches don't have to beat that into their heads. They can look at the tape from the game last night or whatever and say, hey, I wasn't doing this right. I'm going to get to the gym and I'm going to work on it. So when you can be a self-evaluator and not have to rely on your head coach to pick that out and keep picking at you for practice, then that just is going to make you a great player.
And be proactive as well. Even if you don't see anything that you're doing wrong on the film, you got to ask about it.
Right.
That's another thing. But it's one thing to have talent. It's another thing not to work. Because if you're not working, then, you might have talent, but you're lazy.
Laziness doesn't get you to the next level.
Laziness doesn't get you to the next level. Exactly.
It might get you some points, against teams that are just not as talented as you at this level. But next level, when everyone's a big boy and everyone's kind of where you're at, that laziness is going to bite you really quick.
No question.
And I've seen it a lot. I've seen it happen many times where, you're a big fish in a small pond and all of a sudden you get to the next level and everyone's a big fish and you don't know how to work hard enough to get yourself to that level consistently, and it burns out. And
it's the same thing even if you're in baseball and you go to the minor leagues, it's the same thing.
It's really hard. It's harder than most people understand to make that adjustment from being the best player in your area to all of a sudden being just another person on a team because everyone's done what you've done, and in their own area.
Yeah.
So it's a hard mental adjustment, but the ones that are great are the ones that are able to make it.
And it's real easy to explain. If you're really good enough to go to the college level, that means that you are extraordinary in high school, and you've become ordinary when you go to college. So the only way you can go from ordinary to extraordinary is work really hard. And then when you get to college, okay, let's say baseball, because this is a game that I know a little bit more about than most. You go from ordinary to extraordinary, and then you're picked in minor league baseball. Guess what? You're back to ordinary.
Right.
And so what do you do? And here's the beautiful thing about baseball. Depending on where you are in minor league baseball, you got 5 hoops to jump through, or at least back in the day, you had at least 5 hoops that you had to jump through. Rookie to short A to low A to high A to double A to triple A to the major leagues. Well, now it's low A to high A to double A to triple A to the major leagues. Well, even when you get the promotion, extraordinary, ordinary. All right, now what are you going to do when you go from this level? Well, now you got to work even harder because you don't want to stay down here, because if you stay down here, you're never going to be able to get to the top stage in life, which is Major League Baseball. One of my favorite guys in all of minor league baseball, and he wound up having a much greater career in Japan than he did in the States. Matt Merton. Merton played baseball for Georgia Tech. Danny Hall. He actually also played for Cincinnati Midland, who I wish we had an opportunity to play more often. Maybe that'll happen someday. Matt Merton, when he made his stop in Double-A Jackson, he took it upon himself every single night after every single game at home to go into the batting cage underneath the it would have been next to the clubhouse, because the clubhouse was behind the left field wall, but it was a separate building from the stadium. So about 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, I'm going into the coach's office, and we're chit-chatting and whatnot. I come out of the coach's office, and I hear the ball hitting a bat. What the hell? It's 10:30 at night. Who the hell is doing this? I go outside, and there's Matt Merton.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you're hitting 360 in the Southern League. What are you doing? He goes, I don't want my career to end in the Southern League. All right. There you go.
That's one of those ones you document and you just like that. That's what it takes right there. I don't know. Did he get?
He went to the major leagues.
So,
he got more than a cup of coffee in the majors, but by and large, his career exploded in Japan.
Right.
He broke Ichiro's record for most hits in a season. So yeah. Matt Merton is the redheaded god in Japan. That's how high pristine he is in Japan.
You know, that's one of the. It's a rough lesson you'll learn. Sometimes you just have limitations, and you can work your butt off and still not make it to the major leagues.
Sure.
And it's one of those things where that's when you have to realize whatever sport you're in, you're more than what your sport is. You're more than that. You know. Because I've seen a lot of kids fall in that trap where, like, they work their butts off, they don't get to where exactly they want to go, and then they don't know what to do because that's all they've known, and they don't have any identity outside of that.
Yeah.
And it's another hard reality lesson that no matter how hard you work, I mean, I don't want to damper, but you do have some limitations, and you have to find identity outside of your sport. That's one of the lessons I would give to anybody, because even if I want people to work their butt off to get where they want to go.
Yes.
But I also want them to not lose themselves during that fight to get to where you want to go.
And to pile on what you just said, if you are blessed enough to get a scholarship, it could be full. God bless you if it's full. If it's a partial, like 99% of the baseball players not playing in a Power 5 conference, you're getting a partial scholarship. Even if it's partial. Use the college every bit as much as they are using you, because they got you on scholarship because they want to use your athletics. Well, you flip that switch and you say, I am using this higher power of learning to get my college degree. So if plan A, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, if plan A, soccer, softball, whatever, if plan A falls, you got a college degree. Now you can go to plan B. Make sure you find a major that you're comfortable with and get your college degree. Then you go right down to plan B and have a hell of a life.
That's the thing about these universities and colleges. The resources are there, but they don't force you to use them. So you have to kind of seek them out and know where you find your resources. And you have to be very proactive in college, because there's not going to be someone that gives you a big shove into the resources that they offer. So you got to be proactive in college and look for those resources, because they're there. You just got to be proactive.
And that tutor of yours that follows you on road trips, you know that person on a first name basis, and you are in that person's ear.
You buy them dinner every now and then.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
if you're, I don't know if that breaks rules.
I don't know if that breaks any rules or not.
You do something special for them.
Yeah.
Make sure they're appreciated.
Exactly. But that's it. You know, it's so many times everyone wants to look at the grand prize. Okay, the grand prize is a wonderful thing, but, you know, in our industry, Kevin Burkharts don't grow on trees. If they did, I'd have planted my ass a long time ago. I'm just saying.
Right.
It's just, and I saw his hard work. I saw it firsthand.
I mean,
I saw Joe Block's hard work.
You look at the national broadcasters, there's a handful of them.
Yep.
And that's it. And then all the other guys that are trying to get there, but there's this.
Yeah.
one for each major network.
Yeah, Tom Hart, who does SEC games, he was in the Southern League. Had him for 2 years.
But what I like
years.
is the SEC network, the ACC network is opening up a lot of avenues for some of these.
Absolutely, they are.
Broadcasts. They just use the regional broadcasters for a lot of these schools. So when they do a Wake Forest game or whatever that's not nationally televised, they just use someone from that Wake Forest program, and they get to be on ACC network, on ESPN Plus, and whatever it may be.
And you're getting a really nice boost in your career. Now it's up to you whether or not you get someone in your ear to say, hey, wait a second, this guy's or gal is pretty good.
This is something I learned when I was at I didn't know, but when you're on any ESPN platform, whether it be ESPN Plus, ESPN3, ACC Network Extra, there is someone from ESPN watching. And because I got like the letter from that was sent to John Vogel about, hey, this guy's doing a really good job, whatever, but it was from ESPN. So when you're on that platform, use it, because there's people that are from ESPN watching you, no matter what platform of ESPN you're on.
Well, in anything in life,
right, you
make damn sure you're doing something really good, because at some point in time in our industry, someone's listening to you. In any industry, someone is watching you.
That's creepy.
It is. It is kind of creepy, but it's been in a good way. I'm not talking in a psychotic. I'm taking mental notes and I'm going to attack your ass and da. I'm not talking about that stuff. I mean, you opened the door. I kind of went down the second floor and to the right. I'm just, no. In our industry, and I've learned this firsthand.
Right.
When I was in Vero Beach. I was in Vero Beach broadcasting games. Hell, I didn't want to leave Vero Beach. Vero Beach, Florida is a great town. I loved Florida. I loved living in Florida. But after the 2002 season, the owner who had just bought the AA Cubs affiliate in Jackson, Tennessee, he had a home in Vero Beach. He was hearing a week's worth of my stuff and said, that's the guy I want to hire.
Right.
Okay.
I
mean, who knew? So, And it's in our business, peel the curtain away a little bit. It's subjective. Some people will look at you and say,
"You're not it."
You're not it.
Right.
And other people will look at you and say, "Man, you're really good." Okay.
Just like any art is subjective, and it doesn't matter what kind of art it is. So.
And anything in life, I guess, is subjective.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It just, and even athletics is subjective. Some people will sit back, and scouts have a great, get a bunch of baseball or football scouts together, and they will never agree on something. No matter how great the person is.
I think this kid's really good. Wow, he's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly. Even the managers. Bobby Dickerson used to manage the West 10 Diamond Jacks, and after every baseball season, one of his jobs, one of minor league baseball's manager's jobs, is to evaluate not just your team, but you're going to evaluate other people from the other clubs. And he gets me into his office. We're cracking open a few beers, and we're drinking some beers, having a good old time. And he goes, "All right," he says, "you got to help me out." I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I want you to evaluate some of the players from the other teams." Okay. Let's go. So we started running down the names. Oh, he and I we'd disagree on a lot of stuff, and then he'd throw his 2 cents in, and I'm like, well, this is what I saw from up here, and throw my 2 cents in. And it was, it was a great time. Mm-hmm. And it just, if you get scouts and general managers and whoever on any sport, unless that person is completely elite and you know the goods when you see it, you're going to have 99 different opinions about one person. Crazy. It's part of the greatness that is covering sports from that level.
We love it.
Oh my God, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I wish the winter meetings had gone on this year. That's it.
They did. They just went virtual.
You got to go to one of those things. Honest to God, they are so much fun. It's you just nothing but baseball, and it's just a great time. And if you're in the trade business of it, they've got all kinds of different stuff that everyone wants to have, and the new stuff for the upcoming year, and the people that want to go to minor league ballparks, and like the San Diego Chicken, but he's famous now and he's now retired.
Right.
So, but acts like that make their money by going to different venues in minor league baseball. They're there. It's a great time, and then you get the major league people.
I bet
together.
now it's like the Philly Fanatics there because he's one of those iconic mascots that.
Well, he doesn't need to be there
He
now
should be
because
there.
everyone knows of him, and
He should be there because I want to meet the Philly Fanatic.
yeah.
Man.
There was a
That
guy.
burns my heart. That burns-
Yeah.
Him and oh geez, the Flyers have a new mascot. What they call him? They released him like 2 years ago. The Flyers never had a mascot before, but
Okay.
he's like my spirit animal.
There you go.
So
There you go.
gritty.
Gritty. Okay. Gritty. That's
Big orange dude, but he has this one video where he holds up signs and it says, "In my opinion, this tweet is trash." And I use
it's a lot of fun, and then you throw the major leaguers in there,
Right.
and then it becomes a great
I've been
time.
to a fan fest, and those are always fun.
Oh, those are great.
Because then you kind of get like a little peek behind the curtain. And,
Yeah.
But I've never been to winter meetings.
Especially the Pirate Fest is one of my favorites because they always get. Back in the day, it was Neil Huntington. Now it's going to be Ben Cherington. But they always got the owner down there as well. And then you'd hear the Pirates fans that have the stones to stand up and basically bitch and moan about why he doesn't spend any money and all this other stuff. And you're kind of like looking, going,
You got some balls.
you got some stones, my friend.
I like it though because it means you're not just sitting behind a tweet. If you can stand up and say it to his face, and by God say it.
And
Because
Bob Nutting doesn't have a problem with it. He'll go, okay, and this is why we're doing this and this. And of course the guy's not, or whoever's asking the question is going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
But at least he's there taking it. And then you've got Joe Block and Greg Brown and Walkie and Wayner and these guys are answering questions from fans as well. It's really well done. It's very well done. I love the interaction with everyone.
right.
It's a good time. I wish they would have done that in football too. They don't
really do
much
that.
of that.
There's not like a fan fest in football.
Yeah, that's something that not that the NFL doesn't need any more publicity because they do a lot of things right, but it would be cool if you had a fan fest, Brown style or
When you
Steelers
look at
style.
that, that's maybe one thing the MLB does a little bit, but they have avenues where, like the fan fest, where the players, and not even just the players, but the front office people are kind of available to the general public fans.
Yeah. And they bring in people from the past.
And if they like really use that and then propelled it for more than just a fan fest in January, hey, you think baseball might be able to market something?
Well, you would think. You'd think that they would be able to do this, I just,
It's such a marketable sport if you do it right, and it drives me crazy that it's done so wrong.
And-
because there's no better sport to have fan and player interaction than baseball, and they don't do it well. And it's just
What is amazing to me,
it's
Faye
frustrating.
Vincent, Bud Selig, and now Rob Manfred. 3 reasonably intelligent guys. Hell, Manfred's an attorney. Well, I don't like him, but he's a reasonably smart cookie. None of these three had an ounce of common sense in terms of marketing. And I just don't understand it.
It's because marketing has changed, and they don't want to change to the marketing ways that are now today. Baseball, I mean, we've talked about it before. It's curmudgeon a little bit, and we don't want to go change, and because of that, they think old marketing tactics are still going to work, and they don't. And it's that simple.
I go back.
The NFL has changed its marketing tactics with the changes of culture.
Sure.
And baseball has not.
And I still think the greatest thing that the National Football
And they
League
missed opportunity this year with all the stuff they could have done with this season because it was a throwaway season.
Yeah. And they didn't do it.
No,
They didn't do it. Now, I would
There's
have
some rule changes, but nothing like with the fan interaction that they could have done with fans not on the field. Didn't do anything.
Yeah, there could have been ways to have a lot of people mic'd up. There could have been ways to have had a lot of in-between inning things after the commercials while the game was going on, where you could have had some stuff going on. They didn't do any of that stuff, and this was a lost season, but whatever. One of the great things about the National Football League is they realize, now back when I was a kid, the Super Bowl was played mid-afternoon, like about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the game was over at 8 o'clock at night, and okay, wonderful. Now they've come up with a better idea of starting the Super Bowl at 6:30 at nighttime, and by the time the game is over, kids are still going to be going to sleep, okay, but a little bit late, but they're going to be able to stay up and watch the entire game, and they'll be able to go to school the next day, especially if their favorite team won the Super Bowl, and they're going to be able to have a great old time. How many kids in the Eastern time zone and the Central time zone stay up and watch the World Series from start to finish, night after night after night after night? And I will sit back and tell you a very small percentage of those kids.
Only if your team's in it.
If your team is in it.
I did. And our Royals were like, hey, let's go into extra innings every night.
Yeah, well, yeah, there
Thanks
you go.
A lot. There goes my sleep. But
Yeah.
hey, I think the game-clinching game was in 12 innings, and it was like,
Now you were in college.
I was in college
when that happened. I mean,
Right.
when we were talking high school
Right.
and junior high and elementary school kids that are the future of the game.
I think I remember the thing I stayed up for the most in sports. I remember, like, this is my earliest memory of being up really late watching a game, and it was the Rose Bowl between Vince Young and Matt Leinart,
Yeah,
which is one of the most epic college football games I've ever seen.
that was the
still.
national championship game.
I remember being up in my room late at night watching that game it was just. But when it's kind of like when it's one of those things, a lot of my experience, I didn't care how late it was because you're not going to miss it. But some parenting style is like you are in bed at 10 no matter what, and you get to miss out on that stuff, and that's a valid point.
That's when I turned on my transistor radio and said, "Earpiece in." So I don't disturb my
You had an
my big
earpiece
brother.
back then?
Oh yeah,
There were
I
earpiece- I
had
didn't know
I had one of those single earpieces that you would.
Oh yeah.
Just to make sure that my big brother, and he was a big boy, 6'7",
Don't mess him up.
don't want to mess him up. Don't want to mess his sleep. Yes, sir. No, sir. Because I'm a little runt compared to him. So, no, not going to mess with you today. So I turned my radio on, earpiece in, and I'm good to go. Now, fortunately, when I was growing up, most of the games in the World Series were day games. So all I had to do was race home from school, which no big deal. And even better, the cool teachers had
Oh my
a
gosh.
TV in the room.
March Madness, whether you were in school, you knew which teachers you liked.
Oh, yeah.
And which teachers you didn't.
Yeah.
Because the teachers you liked would put the game up on the TV. And
Oh, absolutely.
the ones
Yeah.
that didn't, well, we're not putting it on.
Yeah. For 2
And
days.
then I'd be like, I'm going to the bathroom, and on the way to the bathroom, I'd peek into one of those teachers' room and check a score real
Yeah,
quick.
either that or go into the library and like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
What do we got? What do we got?
And I remember one of my teachers was also a Georgia Tech fan, so I went. It was the year we were in the tournament. We went and we watched the game in this room, and I wasn't even in his class that
Yeah.
period. I was just,
What are you doing over here? Well, I just took the class for today, sir. Yeah, there's the door. Okay.
what are you
Foiled
doing?
again.
What are you doing here? And then I pointed to the TV, and he goes, "Oh, right, we're on, right." And he stopped teaching,
Oh, yeah.
and we just sat there and watched the Georgia Tech game. So it was fun.
The
We lost to Oklahoma State, so
The really cool teachers,
no.
2
No.
days of no learning
Right.
during the NCAA tournaments.
Right.
You're just sitting back and going, okay, because we're
You
not
know
going
what?
to be
It's
learning
close to the
anything.
end of the. It's close to the end of the 9 weeks anyway. At least
Exactly.
it was for South Wayne. So it was like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
Watching March Madness.
We're watching March Madness. That's we're marketing. That's what we're doing. Taking marketing class for 2 days.
And we'd have all the bracket tournaments, and that was a fun time in high school
Yeah.
during March Madness.
My senior year, the strike of '81. So that was when the first half, second half BS, where the Reds got absolutely hosed from not getting a playoff team. They didn't win the first half. They didn't win the second half. But they had the best record in baseball, but they didn't get to the playoffs because they didn't win the first or the second half. So the NL Championship Series is Montreal against the Dodgers. Game 5 at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So 6th period. The game was about ready to start. Now, I had a study hall senior year in high school, 6th period. John Butera, who has been on this show, it does a bunch of different things nationally, behind the scenes with ESPN and Fox and a couple of other. He's a freelancer. He's substituting that day for our Spanish teacher, Bob Hancock. And Johnny B says, "Poe, where are you?" And I said, "We're going to be going over to the library." He says, "Do me a favor." He says, "Wheel a TV in here." I'm like, okay, no problem. So I wheeled a TV in there and plugged it in. NBC at the time was broadcasting the NLCS. So turn it on TV 21. There it is. 6th period, mind you. So I blew off band that day. It is what it is. And John Butera stands up in front of Spanish 2 class, 2nd year of Spanish for the kids, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, your Spanish lesson for today, Fernando Valenzuela." Turned the TV on, watched Game 5 of the NLCS, blew off band.
It's funny because like all the other classes, substitutes can come in and kind of have but like when you have a Spanish sub, it's like they're not going to come and teach you Spanish because unless they're already educated in Spanish. So it's like I had Spanish subs when they would just kind of be like, "Read your textbooks. I'm here if you need help, but I suck at Spanish." So it's like, I felt bad for foreign people that had to substitute for the foreign language classes because it's like, I don't know any French. Sacre bleu.
Parlez-vous français? No, no.
Oui, oui.
No.
No. Perli, that's all I got.
Tu hablas español? No. Un poco español. Poquito español. Yeah, poquito. So, no, it was hilarious because Valenzuela was pitching that day. So Johnny B looks up, stands up, serious look on his face, and he says, "Your Spanish lesson for today, Fernando Valenzuela. Poe, hit the radio, hit the TV." "All right, sir." Turned the TV on, popped the feet up on a desk, watched Game 5 of the NLCS, blew off band, jogged back home, watched the rest of the game, and there you go. Beautiful.
Life in the 80s, man.
Life in the early 80s was a beautiful thing. That's when baseball games were still played in the afternoon.
80s nostalgia is coming back because a lot of these new culture shows and TV and movie are making light of the nostalgia of the 80s. So a lot of the kids today are like, "Oh, that's what life was like." And
well, yeah, kind of, sort of,
a little bit.
Goldberg's is pretty.
Goldberg's is great.
Yeah,
I love
Goldberg's
that show.
is pretty accurate with some
show.
stuff. Yeah, that's some good stuff. We're going to take a timeout because we're already 52 minutes into the show and we haven't taken a timeout yet, which is pretty interesting.
Let's hear from our sponsors.
Yeah, our sponsors, and we both have our Yetis. This was given to Anthony and I think DJ has one as well. Our good sponsors, Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue.
They take care of
in
us.
Austintown. They took care of us with an absolutely gorgeous Yeti. Now, apparently these can be washed.
Yes.
In the dishwasher.
It said in the pamphlet that was packaged in that they're dishwasher safe.
Yeah. So,
not microwave safe, so don't do that.
No. I'm not even going to try to put the Yeti in the microwave.
Because it'll keep it warm for you, so there's no reason to put one in.
Yeah, all I've done is put cold things. And to its credit, I'll have ice water in this. And the next morning when I wake up, there is still ice cubes in this Yeti, which I think is phenomenal.
It's named after a snow monster for a reason. Keeps things pretty cold.
Is it named after the dude that was on Rudolph?
Like a Yeti is like Sasquatch, a Yeti.
Okay.
So I
thought you were talking about the abominable snowman.
Yeah, that's a Yeti is an abominable snowman.
Okay.
That's just another word for. I think.
So, does Yukon Cornelius come with this? Because I want to hang out with that dude. I'm just saying.
Break time.
All right, 330-886-0813, back in a bit.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Good afternoon. We are here in Youngstown. Right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our Valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went to
Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, we're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony and I were doing some Christmas songs that probably won't ever make the airwaves.
I don't think you were doing Christmas anymore. You went off on a tangent.
Well, I'm just.
It turned really quick.
We were also talking about Family Guy and how what's the guy's name?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane.
I was just saying I want to be like in his writer's room one day because like the fun that those guys probably have writing that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, I would love to just sit there because they probably belly laugh for 3 hours just writing an episode. So.
Peter Griffin as a sports talk show host would be that would be
it'd get canceled really quick.
Yeah, you're on the air. What's going on in your lifetime? What do you think about the Indians this year? Well, that's not their name anymore, you dumbass. Click. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'd love to sit in on one of those. Just how his mind works is that you got to go into some really dark places.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
But there's so much talent there. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's also. I mean, forget the comedy. He's a great singer and he's a great musician, and it's one of those talented guys. You just go, it's not fair because he's funny. He's good at writing. He can write his own music. He can sing really well,
and he can offend people without really hating them.
How are you able to do all? And he hosts the Oscars, so he's also good at just doing stuff himself, not just the voice acting. So it's like, man, I missed out on that gene pool.
modern day Mel Blanc, although I would give Mel Blanc a little bit bigger of an advantage of more voices, but modern day Mel Blanc, when it comes down to it, that guy's insanely good. Oh, yeah. All the voices he did. He does Brian. He does Stewie.
He does a lot.
Peter.
He does a lot. I mean,
he does Quagmire.
Yeah. And then a bunch of other characters that show up.
The pervert, the old pervert that's always
he
has
does that.
a thing
He does
for Chris.
the news anchor, the doctor,
Yeah.
he just anytime they need a voice.
And I think he does Cleveland too, doesn't he?
No.
Who does Cleveland?
I don't know. It's
well, clearly the Indians don't do Cleveland anymore,
No.
but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's a great show. Oh God, if you can stomach some of the. Okay, we're a little below the bar. You shouldn't be here. You get this back up, but it's
we're not below the bar though. We're ready to get some girls basketball talk.
Indeed.
In
We're
about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes away. Steve Miller will be calling in.
You like that segue?
Yeah, indeed. I like that.
I can do it just as good, man.
And there you go. That's
we got
thing.
Steve Miller calling in at 110 and talking about the undefeated Western Reserve Blue Devils and kind of what their expectations are this year. And then right after him, we'll have Josh Sigler calling from United. And they're coming off a big overtime win over Crestview.
Steve Miller has they got his work cut out for him tonight and Saturday. They've got Indian Creek, also known as Swingtown. So he's going to go down to Swingtown.
Swingtown.
Yeah, went right over your head.
Yeah, I was like, why
Swingtown
is
used
it
to be a
called
Steve,
Swingtown?
Steve Miller song.
See,
Swingtown.
you're
okay. I'm trying to, yeah, all right. You're not a Steve Miller fan. That's all right. You're a Steve Miller basketball coach fan. There you go. And he does. He has hhis work cut out for him. 6-0 Indian Creek down in their jungle tonight, and then Saturday Doylestown Chippewa, who year in year out. Ooh boy. They're a fun basketball team.
And what makes them good is they've done it in different ways over the last 5 or 6 years. I remember one year in regionals, their offense was just like good luck stopping them. They can shoot from anywhere. And then like 2 years later, all of a sudden they're not an offensive team anymore. They can really press you, and they play really good defense. And it's like that coach does a wonderful job of kind of morphing his program to fit his personnel instead of the coaches that you've seen them. They have a style, and no matter who they have come through their gym, you're gonna adapt to my style. I think the better coaches are the ones that say, here's what I have personnel-wise. I'm going to adapt to that and make a style based on it.
Yeah, those are the coaches that I want. Because the coaches that sit back and go, no, it's my way or the highway. And yeah, good luck trying to go far in the tournament.
Well, Syracuse does. I mean, no matter who comes through it, they're going to run that 2-3 zone, and they're going to run it really well.
Well, I mean, but there's a difference where you're going to be tailoring your scholarship athletes toward the premise of this is the high 2-3 zone defense that we're going to play, and you've got to be able to be adjusted to this. In high school, look, if you don't have a lot of talent shooting the ball, but you're always known for being high octane offense, well, if you don't have any good shooters, you better change the script a little bit.
Yeah, and you better not have an offensive philosophy that is built on getting wide open looks from three if you don't have any shooters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you're like, let's drive the ball a little bit, coach. We are blessed with really great coaches in this area that do that wonderfully. That no matter who they have, they can morph themselves into a style that matches their personnel. So.
Yeah, and this will be a lot of fun to see what happens in Western Reserve Land tonight against Indian Creek.
It's like an hour and a half.
Saturday against Doylestown Chippewa. I just hope they're still playing this game because what Mother Nature did yesterday. I mean, that's a pretty long distance to go all the way down to Indian Creek. Hopefully, and the further south, the more snow you got because this was coming from the south. So. Who knows what happens there. I guess we'll find out.
There. Hopefully Steve Miller can
when Steve
give
calls
us some
in,
insight into that. But that's an hour and a half drive south.
Yeah, that's quite a haul down there. And then at 1:30, we'll hear from Josh Sigler over at United. They're coming off an overtime win over a pretty good Crestview team, 49-48. And keep in mind, United and Crestview both Division III, so pretty good chance, even though they're not in the same conference anymore. There's a pretty good chance these two teams could see each other in the tournament.
United they're a young team that gets better every time you see them out on the floor. I mean, they're just I think that's important because when you get to the end of the season, where you're at is going to be drastically different from where you are in the beginning. So some of these losses they have in the beginning of the season, I think when they get to the end of the season, they're going to be a much better team if they see any of those teams like Crestview again. I know they won, but they won in overtime and they won in the free throw line. So if they see Crestview again, they're going to be just as much of a challenge because they continue to get better.
Saturday, United will take a travel to East Liverpool, which is about 20 minutes, give or take a few minutes. Hanover to the lovely community of East Liverpool, Ohio.
Potter Field House.
Potter Field House is phenomenal. I love that place. It's I'll tell you another place, and I said this on yesterday actually. I said this. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, it was yesterday because the Rebel boys played Camel on Tuesday, and I raved about the Camel Gymnasium. I really hope that Stacy Seepin, the new athletic director over in Camel, can get a tournament at Camel High School. Because to me, that gymnasium deserves to have a tournament. The chairback seats, the LED lights, just the spaciousness of the floor, that is a great environment for basketball.
You know, the floor kind of looks good on camera because it's got the black and red wings, and it's kind of one of those floors that kind of aesthetically pleasing. I know that's one of the lower rings of why you get a tournament game, but you know, for YSN and putting that floor on camera, it looks pretty good, especially lighting and then the design of the floor.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do Garfield next year. That gray floor down in Garfield, I want that.
I've never seen it.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get that on
I've never seen that. There was a Youngstown State's opponent in the Horizon League.
Oakland
plays a brown floor.
Looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then Oregon is like the best at it because they have those trees, and when you're looking at it close, it just looks like the floor is kind of cracked but then when you kind of perspective it, and then you see all these like evergreen trees along, it's awesome.
YSU's basketball floor is not too shabby either because you've got the
new one.
You got the nice little drawn picture of Pete the Penguin in the middle of the floor. You get the big Y at the half court. It's beautiful. That's a gorgeous
I like that
floor.
And then what's the one with the city on the baseline? Oh, geez, it's gonna escape me. There are some really nice floors in college basketball.
Yeah.
So
it's good times.
Newton Falls has a pretty cool floor.
Yes, very much so.
Can't leave them out.
No, definitely not. Newton Falls is a very good basketball school. No two ways about that.
Girls and boys.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a fantastic job up there for sure. We're going to take another time out. On the other end, we will hear from the head basketball coach at Western Reserve High School. Girls basketball coach Steve Miller joins the show coming up in a bit. It is a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
With Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig. Running Point presented every Monday through Friday from noon until 3 o'clock on ysnlive.com. It's presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. A former teacher and one of the assistant coaches over at Niles, Larry Kemp, my history teacher for 3 of the 4 years, just gave me a message. Behave with the substitutes. Yeah.
Hey, we were just talking about substitutes that are in foreign languages. I mean, it's got to be a hard thing.
Well, this goes into a story. Yeah, this goes into a story.
I don't think we have time for a story.
Well, no, Coach Miller hasn't called in yet. This goes back into a story again. Senior year in high school, we had a substitute teacher for Coach Kemp. He was in Columbus that particular day, and most of our class decided to act a little foolish while this substitute teacher was trying to do her job. And about 16 kids that were sent outside when Coach Kemp came back, and he wasn't in a very good mood. He said, "I'm going to be the judge and the jury, and if I find you guilty, well, we're going to give you some punishment." And back in those days, of course, punishment was you're allowed to paddle kids. 16 people getting paddled. The last of them, a buddy of mine, had just had knee surgery, played football, blew his knee out or had a torn ligaments, and he's on crutches. And Coach Kemp's like, listen, just detention after school, no big deal. And it should have been over by then. No, my friend decided to, you've hit 15 guys already. I think you're tired. Really? You really wanted to say that? So let's just say he got some extra sauce, and the kid limped 14 feet down the hall as soon as the contact was made.
You don't aggravate the man with a
paddle. No. Especially Coach Kemp. Now consider Coach Kemp is now in his older. We'll not give out his age. He's older, but 30 some odd years ago, Coach Kemp was not older, and he was bigger, and he was stronger. You don't do that to a guy like him. All right. We're going to talk some girls basketball right now. Joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head basketball coach for the Western Reserve Girls High School Basketball Program, Steve Miller. Coach Miller, how are you today, sir?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. That was quick, boy. I called in. You guys got me right on the spot.
Well, hey, that's what we do around these parts.
You get the VIP treatment, Coach.
Coach, 3-0. 3-0 on the campaign, 2-0 in the league. The last time you guys played, you knocked off Jackson Milton 85-34 up in North Jackson. I know it's early in the season. What have you learned at this point from your basketball team 3 games into the season?
Well, to be honest, I think we're built a little bit differently this year. Last year we made 171 threes, which is kind of crazy. When I took over the program 8 years ago, I think the most threes they ever had in a season at that point for girls was in the 60s. And so we put an emphasis on a lot of numbers and stats and records and goals, and built from there. And last year's team was a perimeter shooting team, and I say that, but obviously everything's still centered around the girl in the middle. But we shot the ball well from the perimeter last year. But when we ended up losing in the districts, we kind of reevaluated and looked at some things, and we thought instead of just being able to get some inside touches with Danny and shoot the perimeter shot, that we needed to be a little bit more physical, aggressive, and we needed to attack the paint and get to the basket with our guard play. So that was an emphasis in the off season, and I think we're built differently this year. So I think not only do we pound the post with pass entries to Danny, I think we got a couple other girls that can post up well, and then we've been attacking the basket, like I said.
Coach, I've had the chance to watch you a couple of times already this season. It seems like defensively you just have a little bit of a new energy this year where even though you're scoring at a high percentage, you're holding teams down, especially in that Dalton game. Talk about some of the things that you went in and looked at in your defensive mindset, and what are the things that this team is doing so well on defense?
Well, announcements are coming on here. I don't know if that's going to just bother you guys or what here. I'll try to talk over around them. Defensively, first off, I've always considered myself a defensive-minded coach. I learned from Tim King through playing, and he was always a great defensive coach. So I look at the first thing we always do is, certainly whoever scores the most amount of points wins. But we hang our hat on defense. We pride ourselves in defense. And the old cliche, defense wins championships. So defensively, I think going into this year, I thought we were a little bit more quick and athletic from top to bottom this year. Certainly we had a great team again last year, and we were a good defense. But I thought our lack of foot speed and athleticism made me play more zone last year than I wanted to. I like to play man-to-man. I think I'm a little bit better of a coach man-to-man. So we kind of stress those principles on a daily basis and things and fundamentals that we work on. Now, the weird thing is a couple of the wins that we've had so far this year, we went to zone. I mean, it was tied up 19-19 at halftime against Springfield. We jumped into a zone, caused them some problems, got some turnovers, and kind of, ended up pulling away in that game. And then against Dalton, we went to the zone also. And I thought the zone did a good job against them and caused them some problems and kind of slowed them down. So defensively, we run a lot of different stuff. We have a lot of different variations. But again, a lot of things that help us defensively is, we got a 6'2" girl in the middle that can alter, block, and stop a lot of shots. So if you want to penetrate in there, you got to score and you got to finish over her. And then I think defensively we got some girls on the perimeter that move their feet pretty well that can get in the passing lanes.
Well, and Coach, having the big presence like Danny at 6'2" in the middle, if she's double teamed, she can still be big enough to where she can throw it out to the person who's open for the shot.
And that's something that she's been working on, and we've been working on. I think last year we would throw it into her and maybe just kind of, I guess, hope she would finish. And teams did a good job as far as, coming at her and doubling her from different angles and different stuff. So, we talked this summer and this offseason about inside-outside touches and moving the ball, and she's becoming, a better passer from in there as well.
And when you talk about, you have so many options on offense to go to, but I think one of the things that makes your team different from good to great is as the point guard you have, and Kennedy had a chance to talk to her last night. Talk about what she brings to the table as a point guard and as a senior leader.
First off, Anthony, I got it. I didn't even know that interview was coming. She come down and showed me last night, and I appreciate it and thank you not only from a dad but from a coaching standpoint because that was a nice interview. She is kind of a little bit unsung, like you would say, and she does do all the coaching things that maybe sometimes get overlooked by people because it's not always in the stat sheet. But I've been coaching almost 20 years. Did the varsity boys for several years here, and then did the girls. And like you said, you appreciate a lot of the little things that she does, knowing the game, high IQ. Knowing who to get the ball, when to get them the ball, and hitting them in that right spot. She's never going to be replaced. She's now 18 years old, but it took a long time to raise a point guard. Let me tell you. Sitting on the benches, going through things, going to games. She's had a lot of learning and growing up. I guess just being around the game has helped her. I appreciate her. She's one of the best I've ever had. So she does a good job getting us in the flow of things. She does a good job of the tempo. She does a good job of understanding this year, I think, when she needs to score. Last year, I thought she kind of maybe took care of everyone else too much, and now she's doing a good job as the year has started, knowing that she's got to keep herself involved in the game. not just her teammates.
Western Reserve girls basketball coach Steve Miller joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Coach, I'll give you guys all the credit in the world. You have beefed up your non-conference schedule. I'm assuming that you guys are still playing tonight?
Unfortunately not. The athletic director came down and walked down and seen me like the Grim Reaper about an hour ago, and they put the kibosh on that. Indian Creek canceled school. Roads are clearing up, but there's still a possibility that they might get a little bit here and there this evening. It's an hour and a half drive, and our administration just didn't feel comfortable putting us on the buses, not getting home until about 11:30 tonight. So we don't know if we're going to reschedule that. We wanted to. I mean, they're like 6-0. They won 22 games last year and return everybody. So we definitely wanted the challenge on that. We're honored and flattered, to be honest with you, all the teams that have reached out for us. I mean, we had Newark High School in Columbus that is just a great program and loaded. They called us looking for a game, and for some of these schools to be looking for a little Division IV school to play, that's saying something. Louisville from out towards Alliance has called us and looking like we're going to schedule them. We had planned on playing Canfield, and then there were some COVID issues, and we put that on hold. We got Salem and Poland coming up. We got West Branch coming up. So, I mean, I'm honored for the test. Our girls are up for the challenge. You want to play the best. That's what prepares you for the tournament. So, we got a great schedule.
And that's ultimately iron sharpens iron. By the time the tournament is going to go on, you're going to probably be the most prepared Division IV team in this area and perhaps in the state of Ohio.
Well, hey, we tried to do that last year. We got dinged up a little bit, but, we know going through our league and going through our tournament play that, we got arch rival McDonald right there all the time. And they got a great team. They got everyone back. They got us 2 of the 3 times last year. We got them the year before in the district final. So we're pretty much always preparing for the tournaments. We're always preparing for those. But, we want to play the best. And to be the best, you have to play the best, and you got to be battle tested in this game. In basketball, you don't have to run the table. Like you said, you just got to sharpen your tools and see what you got and go out and play efficient every night.
When we talk to coaches, we always ask about accountability and what kind of things they hold their players accountable for. What's your philosophy on the accountability factor, and what kind of things do you hold your players accountable for?
Oh, Anthony, I love that word that you just used, because, in fact, I made a note card sitting today at my desk at lunchtime, and I wrote down accountability. And, I guess sometimes people that don't play for me, or their kids that don't play for me, don't really know me, and they sometimes just see me on the sideline, and maybe I look a little bit crazy or overly intense. But accountability is a lot about what it is. I mean, I blew up at halftime at the Jackson Milton game, and some people would say, wasn't it like 49-17? Well, I thought there was, at least 9 points that we just handed them by letting them sit out there like shoot wide open shots. So, first off, everyone's accountability is to play together as a team and to play defense. And there's not a lot of skill, I feel, involved in that. It's just technique and it's fundamentals, and, that's what I teach them. So I take offense when my players don't do what I ask of them, because I work extremely hard at what I do and put a lot of time in it. And because of that, my kids have bought into the philosophy, and they take a lot of pride in what they do and what we work on a daily basis, too. And I've been fortunate enough to be here, that I've had parents that allow me to coach them a certain way. We have high expectations. So with that, accountability is just always being hardworking, team-oriented, disciplined, and fundamental.
And I got to believe that the practices are at game speed, and you treat every practice like it was a game.
That's how you have to prepare. When I first took over the girls' job, the first thing I said is, who's the best around? And the best I thought was Berlin Highland and Dave Schlaball. So, that first year I reached out to him, and my assistant coach and I drove down there, and we sat in his office, and we went through a lot of things that he does, and looked at how he's had success for, 25, 30 years. And we tried to start doing what he does. Certainly they have a different community. They have a different mindset than what we have here. But we try to do a lot of things that they do in practice, whether it's off season or in season, and that's how we prepare. And you're right, practices sometimes are harder than the games. I mean, for instance, I had Olivia Pater that broke her nose a couple of days at practice, just a week ago, and unfortunately, that's the casualties of war, and you're going to have that when you're going at it and going it the right way. But if you don't practice and prepare that way, you're not going to be ready to reach that challenge on game night when you face that tough opponent.
We've already talked about Danny Vuletic a couple of times. Everyone talks about her game and her height and her defense. Talk about some of the stuff she does off the court and some of the intangibles she brings to make her such a good leader, not just a good player.
Well, certainly, Danny's gifted in a lot of ways. She kind of, to be honest, is kind of, I don't know, like maybe loosey-goosey. I mean, she kind of, a giggly, girly type that, most people might not know. But then yet she's serious about her craft and about working and developing her skills and getting good. I mean, Danny comes in and day out and wants to work and wants to get better. Certainly she knows that she has pressure on her, but she also has the support. She has a supporting cast and girls that look up to her, but they have high expectations of her. And just how I said we had a rough locker room talk at halftime the other night against Jackson Milton. That wasn't on Danny, but the game before, Danny got lit up pretty bad at halftime. And the younger girls and everyone in the program, they could see that Danny has accountability too, and she accepts that, and she doesn't waver from it, and she expects it, and that's why she appreciates me, and that's why I appreciate her.
Coach, before we let you go, obviously it's one thing to roll out the basketballs and tell your varsity team to do this and do that and then reap the rewards. But everyone who's ever been in coaching knows the varsity is just the cherry on top of a delicious sundae. It's below. It's the kids that are in 3rd and 4th grade, the kids that you want to get started. That's the backbone, the heart and soul of the basketball program. And if you don't have that leading up into high school, then your program's going to be garbage.
Couldn't agree with you more. And again, when I started years ago, now I did have a daughter, an older daughter that was in high school at the time. But then obviously Kennedy was in elementary school, and then I had another one, Quincy, that was probably still in diapers at the time. So I knew I was going to be in this for a while, and I did start at the younger and the youth levels, trying to really coach them up and coach my coaches up. And I think I appreciate things that you guys do on YSN. I mean, even interviewing some of my players last night and covering the games. I send those out to my youth coaches. I tell them to share them with their parents, share them with the other girls, because they truly look up to these girls in our program, as if they're major role models, and they're someone that they really miss coming to the games, because even though it's girls basketball, these youth girls come, and our attendance has been great over the years, but before this year. So they love tuning in and watching the YSN games live. My coaches right now, I mean, I got two guys in 4th grade, Roy Shook and Paul Myers helping with that grade. 5th grade, I got 2 ladies, and Mickey Hendon and Dana Hibner, that's helping in that grade. Tammy Leon's done my youth for a number of years. She's doing 6th grade and also junior high. I got a girl that played for me before, Alexis Hughes, that's still staying in the program, and she's coaching one of my junior high teams right now. So you're right. You can't just sit there and take these girls in high school. In order to do it year after year, it's got to be with the youth. And, when someone says, well, you're getting out next year, all these girls are graduating, I like to just kind of say, oh, well, we might be down, but what exactly does that mean? Because Western Reserve doesn't want to, rebuild. We just want to keep reloading.
Coach, all the best to you. Congratulations on your start. Damn shame you're not playing Indian Creek tonight. Hopefully you guys get an opportunity to reschedule.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
You got it. Steve Miller, the head basketball coach of the Western Reserve Blue Devils. And let it be duly noted, I did not make one reference to a Steve Miller band.
You've refrained
I refrained myself. I took the Big Jet airliner away from all of those comments.
And before we move on to United, they did add a game. They're playing tonight against Latonia. So United will play Latonia tonight, and I think Latonia's undefeated.
Latonia is undefeated, 3-0. So
big challenge, and it should be a really fun matchup.
And this is probably good for Latonia because they had all kinds of games canceled.
Yeah, this is probably a game because it's an EOAC game. So it's probably a game that was scheduled later in the season. They just moved up because why not? Because we might not get that game in later. So
yeah, this is a great job for United and Coach Sigler. They're 3-4 overall, 1-1 in the EOAC, or as I like to call it, the EIEIO. Never mind. 1-1 in the league. Monday they beat Crestview in overtime, 49-48. Speaking of Crestview, we'll have the Crestview Columbiana game on the network tonight. Yours truly, Larry Scragg. We will join you from Camel. Seems like we were there a couple of days. Oh yeah, we were.
So it'll be the Crestview Camel game.
Crestview Camel Part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah, Part 2. 7 points is what Krista Perry needs to get to 1,000 points. So hopefully we will see some history tonight at Camel High School as the Crestview Rebels take on the Camel Red Devils in girls hoops tonight. Varsity game is set to start to be, it's supposed to be 7 o'clock, give or take a couple of minutes. Again, we're at the mercy of the JV games. So there you go. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, and we'll get Coach Sigler on in just a couple of moments. That is coming up after this timeout. You're listening to a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, presented, of course, by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown, as we continue to go through some of our girls basketball coaches. Next stop, Hanoverton United High School, the home of the Eagles, where we find the head basketball coach of the United girls basketball program, Josh Sigler. Coach Sigler, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you gentlemen today?
Doing well. United has a game tonight. You guys weren't scheduled to play a game, but you're going to be taking on Latonia tonight.
Yes, it's been kind of up and down scheduling week for us. We were supposed to play last night at East Canton with an added game, that got canceled. And then about 10 o'clock last night, we got a message that Letonia wanted to move a game up to play today, so we jumped on it, and here we are.
Coach, let's talk about this overtime win over Crestview on Monday. What kind of boost is this for your team? The times I've seen them, they continue to get better and better each day. So a win like that against a really quality opponent in overtime, what kind of thing does that do for your team?
Oh, it was enormous. It was such a confidence builder with such a young team. We were really searching for an identity early on in the year, and we were struggling a little bit with, what kind of team do we really have, and searching for how we wanted to play. And then the light bulb really went off for us after our loss to Columbiana. We really talked as coaches, and we evaluated some things, and we decided, hey, we need to play a certain way. And ever since that moment, we really turned it on. And then coming into Crestview, we knew they had a really solid basketball team. Coach Blatch was probably one of the better coaches in the area. They had a very experienced team, district finalists from last year. And for us to come in there and have the mentality, we told the girls, listen, we're not changing what we're going to do right now. We're going to go right after them. And they did from the tip. And the girls kept believing in themselves. And coming down to the end, and for it to end the way it did at the foul line, and this team was a sky high after that. And then the following day at practice was just unbelievable too. So they're really confident in themselves right now, and we're really starting to find an identity.
So, Coach, you made mention that you made some changes. So, what are the changes? What is the difference now that your kids are doing that you didn't do at the beginning of the year?
Well, kind of piggybacking off of what you were talking with Coach Miller and how you were talking about coaches and looking at their players and changing their philosophies on how they play. We had to look at our team, and we said, listen, we're a long, athletic team. We need to play faster. We need to play much more physical, much more aggressive. And we did that. We started challenging kids more in practice, emphasizing more ball pressure, getting after the other team, moving from point A to point B. Our expectation levels have really gone up for them. And the kids have really bought in. They bought in, and they're starting to believe in it. And I can't ask any more from them for that.
One of the girls I want to highlight, because she just jumps off the court every time I watch her play, is Madison Kibler. I mean, had the game-winning free throws against Crestview, one of the leaders on the court. I think she plays so tough. Talk about what she kind of brings to the team and what it's like coaching her.
Madison's a great kid. She's probably one of the hardest working kids in the off season I've ever had. She puts so much time into her shooting and her ball handling. And this year, with her being thrust into a starting role as a sophomore, it really opened her eyes a little bit to playing varsity basketball at a high-intensity level. She plays a lot of AAU basketball, and organized high school basketball is a little bit different. And for her, she's really starting to pick it up now. And the girls are starting to believe in her. And she's going to her teammates and expecting them to do more around her. The other night against Crestview, she wanted the ball in her hands. And we asked her the next day at practice, with 9 seconds left to go in overtime, we asked Madison what was going through your mind. She said, Coach, I wanted the ball and I wanted to get to the rim. And for her to say that as a sophomore, that is a tremendous answer and a tremendous leader in the making right there.
Coach Josh Sigler, the head basketball coach for the United Girls Basketball Program, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. At the beginning of this interview, you were talking about how you guys were to have played East Canton, obviously, with a snowstorm last night. That game gets canceled, and now Letonia steps in and says, well, we kind of need a game because it's going to be a while before we play a game. I guess the moral of the story in this crazy 2020-21 campaign, you got to be flexible, and the schedule is just 24/7 fluid.
That you couldn't be any more right on that. We're pretty blessed to have played 7 games right now. I know there are some schools that haven't played at all yet, and our athletic director has been in contact with me every day, and he's asking me, "Do you want to play this game? Do you want to play?" And we are definite. We want to play. And so they came calling last night. That was the game that was scheduled to be played at the end of February. We said absolutely. I mean, Letonia is undefeated right now. Coach Ritz is a great guy, great coach, been around a long time, and he's seen a lot of basketball, so he always has his team ready to play. And it's a really marquee game for our league right away. We got some good teams in the league with Columbiana and East Palestine, who is yet to play. So it's really a trendsetter as to who's on top right now and where's everybody at. I mean, so we'll see where we are when we get through this, but we're all excited to keep playing, that's for sure.
United girls basketball has a history of greatness, and you don't have to go too far back to get it. Back with Roger Ziegler, 5 straight league championships, a couple of district championships, and it's all over your walls too. You still go into that gym and you see the sign that says 5 straight league titles. When you kind of look at all that, how cool is it to kind of see United kind of take steps to get back to where they were not too long ago?
It is pretty cool. I started coaching at United in 2013 with Sam Mathias when he took over after Roger had left, and we had some really tremendously good players at the time, and we saw the transformation. We were able to go to district finals, and it was such a great time in United local girls basketball. Well, recently we've kind of taken a little bit of a step back. Everything kind of goes in cycles, to say, and right now with the team that we have, and as young as we are, we feel that this team has the makeup of getting to that point again. We see the athleticism of this team, the work ethic of this team, the overall basketball sense of this team. And they truly want to win. And they see it every day. We talk about it a lot. And they want to get to that level, and so do we as coaches. So it's our job as coaches to continue to push them, even at their youth right now, and to continue to get better and better and better so we can put another banner on that wall.
Coach, how easy is it for you to coach these kids at practice? And I guess the reason why I'm asking this, Anthony and I have coaching experience in the lower levels, and it's one thing to sit back and say, okay, yeah, we want to be really good, but if you're not practicing well, you're not going to play well. What are the practices like at United, and are these kids all in and busting their butts at practice?
Yeah, our practices at school are turned up a notch, especially of late. And like I said, we increased our expectation level for them. We were searching for an identity at first, and we weren't sure as coaches where we wanted to go. And as soon as we figured that out as coaches, our practices increased intensity by leaps and bounds. We expect the girls to get from point A to point B. Right now, we hold the kids accountable for free throws made, free throws missed, layups made, layups missed. And they know anything that they don't do, they're going to owe us a run. And they have no problem doing that. They jump on that line and they're gone. End of practice. We expect the kids to make free throws before they leave. We set the ball down on the free throw line. The kids are running to the line to be the person to make that free throw at the end of practice. They don't care if they make it or miss it. And these kids are all in support of them, each other, and us as coaches. So right now they've just completely bought into what we're asking them to do. And it's starting to show the results on the floor as of the last 2 weeks or so.
Coach, you definitely have a young team, but you also have some very important senior leadership on the squad as well. Talk about your couple of seniors and what they mean to this team and how they're kind of leading this program into the future with such a young talent that it has.
Our 2 seniors, Destiny Hill and Morgan Bryceland. Destiny's been playing varsity basketball for 4 years, so she knows the expectation level at the varsity level. She understands the varsity game, and for her, it's slowing down a lot. And Morgan Bracelin is another one who was more of a role player last year, and she still is in that role-playing mode this year, but she leads by example more than any kid we have. She does the right thing. She expects to do the right thing. She knows when she makes a mistake, she has to correct it. And Destiny's the same way. Destiny's a hard worker. She puts her nose to the grind, and she knows that we want her to succeed. We want Morgan to succeed. And the team, they want to succeed around them. And we only have one of the, and when we talk about leadership too, we got one junior on the team who I can't say enough about, Colby Burton. Just yesterday, we named her team captain. That girl has walked on the floor this year, is quiet. She puts her nose down. She does everything we ask her to do. And she is holding every kid accountable for what she's doing, and she stepped into a starter role now. And that's part of our turnaround is her in the starting lineup. She's helped our big girl, Taylor Cope, in the middle, take some pressure off her with rebounding and defense. And I can't say enough about Colby Burton. She knows what is expected of a leader, and she's really, really coming into it.
Coach, do you have Leetonia tonight in your joint or up in Leetonia?
It will be at Leetonia tonight.
All right, so at the Bears Den, so that should be entertaining. And then you have East Liverpool on Saturday at Potter Fieldhouse, which is another pretty cool place to watch a basketball game.
Potter Fieldhouse is probably, without a doubt, one of the best places to go. I graduated from Beaver Local, so I'm fully aware of all about the Potter Fieldhouse and all the glory that it comes with it and all the basketball history that's there. It is just one of the best places to play.
You will not get a disagreement from me, that is for sure. Being a Columbiana County kid, I love Potter Fieldhouse. That's a great place.
It really is. On a Friday night basketball, you can't beat it.
No doubt.
You know, with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, I think everyone kind of focuses on all the negatives and the uncertainty and the fear. But what are some blessings in disguise that have come out of everything that you guys are going through this season with the new schedules and everything like that? What are some blessings that you might have that you might not have had in a regular season?
Well, a blessing for us is we went into quarantine for 2 weeks, and we were able to see, what the kids were made of, and a little bit of adversity. A lot of our kids have never faced adversity. We have a young team, our freshman class, when they were playing in youth leagues and the middle school leagues, they didn't have to face adversity. They won a lot of basketball games, and now we saw adversity right away with being quarantined for 2 weeks, and we had some adversity at the beginning trying to find identity and losing some basketball games. So there was a lot of looking in the mirror when it came to what do I need to do to get better. And some of these kids, they had to figure it out. You're going to make mistakes, but what do we do from those mistakes? And that's the blessing we've had. And having a young team, they've been able to rally around each other with those mistakes and with that adversity and learn how to deal with it.
Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Now, as a Leetonia grad, I'm not going to wish you a lot of luck tonight, but that's okay. I mean, look, I'm 30-some-odd years removed from Leetonia, so if you go get a victory over the Bears, well, I'm not going to be too terribly disappointed, but still by the same token, not a great amount of luck, but certainly we wish you the best this season. And I absolutely love to hear that kids have understood where they are and where they need to be, and it sounds like this program is ready to take off. And I could not be happier for you and couldn't be happier for Eagle Nation.
Well, I appreciate those words, and I appreciate everything you guys do at YSN. I mean, it's fantastic that you're able to be at all these games, and the parents are able to take them in at home, and the grandparents. And I've had people the other night against Crestview, and they told me that they're yelling at the TV and at a high school basketball game. So
that's great.
That means a lot, and I appreciate everything you guys have done for this.
Coach, it's great hearing from you, and we definitely hope to catch up with you again as the season goes on, and we're going to get some of your players profiled as well as the season goes on.
That sounds great. I appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks again.
Appreciate it, Coach. Josh Sigler, the girls basketball coach at United, and it sounds like these kids they're ready to take off.
United, it's a powder keg. That's how I describe it, because it's so much potential energy right now. And as soon as, and it sounds like they kind of figured out what kind of formula works for them to succeed. So much young talent. They're ready for kind of an explosion to get back to. Like I said, United was a very strong basketball program not too long ago. And Coach Sigler was a part of the coaching staff with Sam Mathias that went and won a district championship, so he understands the history of United, and he is dedicated to getting them back to where they were. It's in their gym. They get to look at it every time they go in. The 5 straight league championships that Roger Ziegler was a part of. I think he's one of the greatest coaches in the girls' basketball history, to be honest. So they are definitely looking to get back on the rise, to get back to where United used to be.
No question. And they'll be tested tonight. And Leetonia has not played very many games, but the games in which they have played in, they've looked really good.
And it's one of those games that's last minute, so you don't get a lot of time to look at film and to break down what they're doing. So you just got to go focus on yourself and do what you do well, and then hope that that's good enough to win you a game, because that's kind of what you have to do in this situation when you're last-minute scheduling. I mean, it's easier because it's a league opponent, so you know what United brings. You kind of know what the coaching staff likes to run. But at the same time, it's a different team every year. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see that game, and I'm excited for it.
Two coaches that I'm now a fan of. After what Coach Sigler was talking about, I'm instantly a fan of the United girls. Yeah, I know that it's in the same league as my alma mater. I get it.
Hey, we're YSN. That's okay. It makes us a fan of everybody.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love Coach Ritz. And to say that he's been around the game a long time, I'll take it a step further. He was the server at Christ's Last Supper. I'll just leave it at that. And Coach and I have a good sense of humor, so he'll understand my humor.
I've done a couple United games already this year, and they're just, right now, in my opinion, they're just so there's something about them. You can't kind of put your finger on them when you're watching that team, that they're just kind of fun to watch. And that's what makes me kind of excited about what they have in the future, because there's just something about them. I can't even put my finger on it. There's just something about that team that when you go into that gym and you watch them play basketball, it's just a fun brand of basketball.
What they did Monday night to Crestview, beating them in overtime. Now, look, Crestview, they have not played their best basketball yet. Not really even close. But you get a victory over a team that has everybody back from last year's team that went to the district championship. You have my attention.
Yeah, and when I hear that a sophomore new starter says, I want the ball in my hands with 9 seconds to go, that just drills into the fact that they have a bright future, because that kid's already a leader as a sophomore, Madison Kibler. So when she tells the coach, hey, I wanted the ball in my hands and I was going to the rim with 9 seconds to go in overtime, down by 1, and then hits 2 free throws, it speaks volumes to the maturity and the leadership displayed just as a sophomore.
No doubt. Josh Sigler from the United Girls Basketball Program joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Rob Schmidt will be coming up in a few minutes. We'll talk with the voice of the YSU men's basketball program. Victory over West Virginia University Technical College, or WVU Tech.
So they put the university in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
it's
interesting.
WVU, and then it's their technical college.
That's interesting because the other tech schools, like Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, they're institutions. So when people say, it drives me crazy when people say Georgia Tech University, because it's not a university, it's an institution.
Yeah.
But it's West Virginia University.
West Virginia University Technical College.
Okay.
Yeah, WVU
But it's not a branch of West Virginia like you, right?
Nope.
Okay, it's so completely different.
So, it's a technical college from West Virginia.
Awesome.
Happens to be a university. Happens to have the same colors as West Virginia.
But not affiliated.
But I don't think they're affiliated. I don't believe they are. We'll ask Rob about that. But they're in Bexley,
because
West Virginia.
There are some branches of Penn State that YSU has played in the past. It's like Penn State Beaver or
Penn State Shenango.
So
they're part of the program.
I just didn't know if WVU had branches like that.
Don't know.
We'll see.
Don't know.
We'll ask Rob.
We'll ask Rob. He will preview the weekend of opening round Horizon League, as the Penguins will be down in northern Kentucky taking on the Norse, a nationally televised game on Sunday, don't you know?
One of the only Division I teams that doesn't end in an S with their nickname.
This is true. Yeah,
Norse.
This is very true. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. Stick around.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before. But 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig. We joked around during the break, and I believe the MP Vivo commercial got me thinking of the new name that I want to call the Cleveland Indians. I'm all about the Cleveland Italians. I'm all about that.
Rob, save us.
Yeah, I'm serious. You could, instead of Chief Wahoo, now it's Don Wahoo. You know, you get you don't have to change much. You have a little bit of red and tilted green, Italians in script instead of Indians. You know, you can still serve hot dogs. That's okay. We'll also serve cannolis. We'll serve some cavatelli with marinara sauce. Some cannolis. You know, and more importantly, most importantly, I'm going to make Lindor an offer he can't refuse. Let's go to the phone lines where we find Rob
he's still
Schmidt.
there. He might have just said, peace out, guys.
No, not at all. He knows my humor. Rob Schmidt joins me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Mr. Schmidt, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing, Anthony. You know my man is special now, right?
He's a little
special.
Oh, yeah, he's special. Oh, are you telling me that I may have ridden a bus that was a little smaller than the normal?
No, I saw your logo on social media for the Italians, so I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Honest to God, I got no problems with it. I mean, hell, everyone should root for Italians. So, you know, now, if 40,000 people start chanting, let's go Dagos, well, okay, yeah, we might have a little bit of a problem. But, right. I'm all good with the Cleveland Italians. Everyone needs Italian in their life. That's beautiful.
I'm all for the food now.
I'm all for the food.
MVR could be the home of Cleveland Italians baseball.
Don't get me too hungry, man.
I'm
we still have an hour left, and you're talking about the MVR.
MVR is, well, that's where you guys do your coaches show. The MVR is phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, my God. That place is phenomenal. All right, let's talk some basketball now that we've pretty much gained 25 pounds talking about food. West Virginia University Technical College, NAIA school, much like Point Park that came to Beagley. And much like the game against Point Park, they had their way with the Penguins in the first half. Penguins made some adjusting. And as we mentioned in the postgame show, look, nobody knew that WVU Tech was going to be coming into town until literally hours after you guys jumped on the bus on your way home from Binghamton.
Yeah, it was another good matchup, but and Coach Calhoun mentioned it in the postgame show Monday. They're both from the same Bob Huggins coaching tree, so there's some similarities. I think each guy kind of had an idea of what the other team was going to do. Obviously, for WVU Tech, they came in aggressive. They had played on Saturday. Our guys had played on Sunday, as you had mentioned. So maybe they had a little bit of a fresher bounce to begin the game. But the thing that's been impressive is our guys have made the adjustments at halftime. So the coaching staff has kind of mapped some things out, and the players have listened and they've learned from it. So each game they've played very well in the second half. They've stepped up their defensive pressure. That's going to have to start from the get-go Saturday at Northern Kentucky. You cannot have any kind of a big lag like you've had in the first three games playing that opening 20 minutes. They did that a year ago and got buried at their place when Tyler Sharp went off for 33 points. Learned from it, had a chance to beat them here in the rematch. So, they've got to come out, and our guys got to play aggressive Saturday, much like they did in that game against Tech on Monday.
Yeah, and no disrespect to WVU Tech, but they're not on the same level as the Horizon League. So what kind of things does YSU really have to do to really – I mean, they need to step up their game if they're going to go and compete in the Horizon League, and they have to get off to better starts, as you said. So what kind of things do they have to do to make sure that they're not making halftime adjustments like crazy like they have in the last couple games?
Anthony, I think the biggest thing, they got to come out and play aggressive right away. And they mentioned that during the game against Point Park, they kind of lagged back defensively, and Point Park hit 7 threes in the first half. Then they started to step up. They started to fill some of the lanes, took away some of the gaps, and that really paid off. And I think they only made 1 3 in the second half. And it was similar in each game. The opposing team has shot fairly well in the first half, and then struggled in the second half. So I think you got to bring that same defensive intensity at the start of the game instead of trying to kind of figure it out through the first half and then make your adjustments. Because obviously this will be the toughest test that the YSU men have faced this year in Northern Kentucky.
Well, the stroke of genius about scheduling WVU Tech on Monday was that's the day after the game against Binghamton, and this was a preview of what is to come, because the entire conference is going to be, all right, we're going to play one day, and then the next day we're going to come back. We're going to play the back half of the back-to-back games. So it's getting the guys ready, albeit 2 non-conference games. But that's the culture from here on out, because you're not going to have any games during the week leading up to the back-to-back conference games. So what we saw Sunday in Binghamton, Monday in Youngstown, this is a preview of what is to come in the Horizon League.
Well, and I'd asked one of the assistants, their thoughts about playing back-to-back against the same team. He said, really, in all honesty, he goes, the preparation for the second game isn't nearly as bad as the preparation for a second team. In years past, and moving forward in future schedules, you'll play Thursday and then Saturday against 2 different teams and travel parties. So maybe you play Thursday and you play Northern Kentucky, then Saturday you'd play Wright State. So you have one day to prep for Wright State. Well, now you've got virtually 4.5 days to prep for Northern, and then you play them again on Sunday. So all you're really doing after the first game is going back and look at the game video and making any of those corrections that you need to from Saturday to Sunday. But for the most part, the team's the same, the players that you prepared for are the same, the matchups are the same. Really what the big difference is going to be is how well can you take care of your body? How quickly can you, get to your trainer? How quickly, how much sleep do you get? How well do you eat? That's where I think being at home may help, because you may have advantages in the training room. You may be able to get into a cold tub, just for example. So I think the difference is going to be how well can the players maintain their stamina and their bodies from game 1 to game 2.
And the differences, of course, is like in a normal way. You play Northern Kentucky, you get to play them again, but you get to play them again in a couple months or whatever. So you got the time to kind of rebuild your staff and adjust and be a different team by the next time you play them. Now you're the exact same team. There are absolutely no secrets from one game to another. What kind of things can YSU do to kind of, or any team that's going through this, do to kind of make that second game a little bit different, or maybe make it this so that it's not as predictable as you playing them the day next? So what kind of things do you think you expect to kind of still keep the opponent on their toes?
I think you'll see depth come into it, the teams that maybe can rely upon their bench a little bit more. You might have that guy come off your bench that you didn't have in game 1 that steps up in game 2. You could very easily see, some guy that's a 6th or 7th man in rotation have a big game on Sunday. I think that the difference is going to be, and it always comes down to this, is who shoots the ball the best. If you're tired and you have no legs, as you guys know, it affects your shot. So I think the biggest thing is going to be, I don't know how many secrets I don't know if you sit back and you say, let's hide this for the second game, because if you can win the first game and guarantee yourself at least a split, you put yourself in a much better position than losing game 1 and being desperate. Sometimes you make more mistakes when you're desperate. So I don't know. I don't know what you hold back. I think it comes down to depth, and I think it comes down to which team is going to shoot the ball better in game 2. And I think mentally, if you get off to a quick start in game 2, you could put the other team, you could bury the other team, because mentally maybe they get discouraged. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But Anthony, you're 100% right. When you play a team in December or January and you come back and face them again later in February, you may have a guy who's out with an injury in the first meeting. You may have a transfer who becomes eligible in the second semester. You have a guy that is feeling better about themselves. A junior college transfer usually takes them about a half a year to get acclimated. He's playing better in the second half of the season. So teams look different in games 1 and game 2 in normal years. Now you're right. If a guy's hurt, he may be out for both games. You never have to deal with him. So it's really interesting to see how this plays out.
One of the reasons why the Penguins are a top 3 team in the Horizon League this year, and that's according to and I'm using air quotes here, Rob, experts. The folks believe, well, YSU, they've got practically the whole team coming back, and they're a pretty deep team. And you and I have talked about this. The depth is going to determine who wins the championship and who wins the tournament championship this year. And I think that one of the cool things about watching the game against Point Park and watching the game against WVU Tech, Coach was more than happy to empty his bench and let everyone get an opportunity, and it led me to believe, hey, he's really not even sure where guys are in the pecking order of the rotation after the starting lineup.
Well, I think that's what these 3 games were very important, to get these guys on the floor in a game situation so you can figure out which rotation is best, which matchups are best. So I thought that's what really come out of those 3 games. I thought you were able to see Kenny Ganley Jr. kind of emerge defensively. You knew what you had with Jeff Hamperian. We've seen Alex Vargo log some good minutes off the bench. So, with Northern Kentucky, we've got 7 freshmen. They've got a lot of new faces. This is a team who's currently their best player in Trayvon Faulkner was actually their 4th best player a year ago. So, they've lost some really key parts from that team last season. But they've got 3 stalwarts, and they've got a couple of freshmen. They've been able to win the Freshman of the Week award in the Horizon League now for all 3 weeks. Marquise Warwick won it, and another kid named David Baum won it. So they've got some youngsters. We'll find out how good they really are when league play gets turned up. One thing I do like about our guys, we have 4 returning starters. They, in essence, at Northern Kentucky, have really 1, maybe 2. The Faulkner kid started. Bryson Langdon started. And here's your point, Anthony. Bryson Langdon played in game 1 a lot of minutes against YSU. Played very little, came in off the bench, was non-starter in game 2 because they had Dantez Walton back. They had their full rotation of returning veterans last year. So he played in game 1 a lot, didn't play as much in game 2. So we saw 2 different teams last year in Northern Kentucky. What you see Saturday is what you're going to see Sunday.
You kind of put your feet into scouting the Norse a little bit, but could dive in a little bit further into it and what kind of problems they present and what kind of things they do well and what YSU fans should expect from Northern Kentucky.
Well, they're a very good rebounding team. They've got a kid, as I mentioned, the Faulkner kid, averaging about 17 points, 5 rebounds a game. Turnover happy, can turn it over. But the kid that really is like the Nazbo hand and doesn't score as much, but is just as hard working on the glass as a kid named Adrian Nelson out of Pickerington, Ohio. And, he's averaging better than 12 rebounds a game. He, last year in the 2 games, averaged about 8 rebounds against YSU. So he's a kid that will get to the glass, doesn't have much range shooting the ball, but can he's a guy that will put back misses, much like Nas does for YSU. So, those are the 3 guys, Faulkner, Langdon, and Nelson, that you got, the YSU's going to have to be concerned with. Langdon's quick. But, I don't know how much they're going to score. Defensively, they've not been as good in their last 3 games as we've seen them. But they've played Kent State. They've played some pretty good teams in their last 3. So I'm anxious to see. I don't know if their bench is as deep as YSU's. But yeah, I think rebounding will be a big key in this game. I think both teams are going to, you're going to have to win rebounding because both teams may struggle to shoot the ball, at least in getting Saturday's game.
Sunday, not only is the game going to be broadcast locally, obviously, with your broadcast, but nationally on TV, ESPNU is going to be broadcasting the game between Youngstown State and Northern Kentucky. And this is something that I can't even remember the last time we were on the Family Network, one of the big networks, to watch the Penguins play basketball, other than a tournament game. So there's certainly Youngstown State is certainly getting some great attention, whether it be from the mothership or Dick Vitale, who sat back and tweeted, "Hey, the Horizon League, Wright State is good, but don't forget about YSU. They're going to be a fun team to watch as well." So when you get that respect and you get the acknowledgement from a Dick Vitale and from ESPN, and they're going to be showing a game of yours on national TV, ESPNU, that kind of raises the bar for the basketball program.
Well, the league has an agreement, and here's how, it even got better since that release come out, is that game's been moved now from the U to ESPN2. So they've moved it to the Deuce now. So, they've kind of increased their coverage, but the league has six weeks in which they get games. Most of them are on the U. YSU was considered to be in 5 of those 6 possible scenarios when the schedule was released. Usually what they try to do is they try to pick 2 games, and then within a week or so they try to pick one of those 2 as their game of the week. So they've gone with our game at Northern Kentucky on ESPN2, and I know we've had a couple of games here on national television, games against Cleveland State and Milwaukee. We had sellouts for both. So, the advantage is they have no fans down there, and that's a really good atmosphere at Northern Kentucky. So with no fans now, it's virtually, other than them being able to shoot on their own courts every day of the week, it's a neutral court game. So it'll be fun for the guys to finally be on national TV. I know they've worked hard for that. That was something they wanted a year ago and couldn't get. And now that you're preseason 2 and, finishing the top 4 last year, they finally reached that. So it's good for the program. It's good for exposure. It kind of opens, some kids around the country that may not know about Youngstown State or know about the style of play, could easily learn that and watch for themselves on Sunday.
The crowd and the atmosphere won't be there on the road. But you brought up a good point earlier that when you're playing the same team back-to-back, the familiarity and the ability to kind of be in your own facilities might be a huge advantage. What kind of thing are the Penguins doing as a game plan on the road to kind of counter that and to try to raise their level to what the Northern Kentucky will get on between Saturday and Sunday?
Well, I think the travel plans for the most part are pretty similar. The COVID-19 protocols change things. You have assigned seats on the bus. They try to space you out as best they can. You really don't have the buffet-style dinners that you've had before. You do a lot more stuff in the hotel. You don't leave to go to a restaurant or, get the kids out and walk around a little bit. You're a little more cooped up. But I think the advantage is you get them off their feet quicker. They're not getting ready to go to dinner. I think really they're in the hotel. So, we'll have a new trainer, but the training staff will be equipped. They'll bring some equipment that will help the guys bounce back quick. But I think really for the most part, your travel plans, they don't change because now you're not playing on Thursday, putting your luggage on the bus and going somewhere right after the game Thursday night, then checking into a hotel and waking up Friday in a different city. Once you get there Friday afternoon or early Friday evening, you can kind of plant yourself for a couple of days, which is nice because you can kind of settle in until Sunday afternoon when you leave.
Now, the bad news in all of this is, and this is something that I looked forward to, is the Rob Schmidt's, this is the place we're going to be stopping and eating portion of the segment. Because let's be honest, I mean, it's all about the food for the broadcasters, and it's all about the experience of going to really cool restaurants.
As soon as you said no buffet, I just went, you know what? It's not worth it.
No, I mean, I'm just going to go back to Youngstown and order up a pizza then, for God's sake.
But don't worry. I'll be well fed. I just got done before you and I started talking, guys. I just turned in my meal request, so I'm already squared away for Friday's trip before we leave. I'm already set for Saturday's postgame and Sunday's postgame. So no, don't worry. Hey, trust me. I'll have my own vehicle because I don't travel with the team since I'm not in Tier 1. So if I need to, I'll find a place. And there's a place in Cincinnati. Mark Richmond, when he was our director of ops, had us eat there, and I think they're getting carry out. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a place called Montgomery Inn.
It's
the best rib joint I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no two ways about that. I was going to say, if you were going to say Skyline Chili, I swear to God, I would have hung up on you. I'd have hung up on you immediately. That stuff is garbage. It's disgusting.
I make Skyline at home. I might have Skyline.
That means we can still... Rob, that means we can still have our road trip kind of meal segment. So what do you got? What's the road trip meal?
Montgomery Inn. That best ribs ever. Ever. Rob, you're 1,000,000% right. Montgomery Inn ribs are, without question, the best ribs I have ever had in my life. There is no equal.
But if we stay in the same hotel, and I'm not sure where we're staying, if we stay in the same hotel that we stayed in a year ago in Northern Kentucky, it's connected to like a mall and a Big Boy restaurant. Now, if that's the place, then I'm all in on Big Boy.
Oh, there are two ways about that. That's it. That's And if Big Boy's not there and Fuddruckers is, Fuddruckers isn't bad either.
Hey, where's Rob?
Hold on a second. We're going to get into this segment where Rob's going to be like, "Hey, 20 minutes to airtime. Where's Rob? Oh, he's over at Fuddruckers feeding his face." Yeah.
I'll get the Big Boy. I'll get to one of those joints. Don't worry about me. I'll make sure I find a place to eat.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So we'll have our Northern Kentucky food segment. That is hands down. That's easily Montgomery Inn for the ribs, because that just there's no two ways about that.
There's nothing secondary to that place. It stands alone.
Absolutely. Rob, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you next Thursday, sir.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right, see ya. Rob Schmidt, the voice of the YSU men's basketball program, and we're going to call him Mr. Food as well, even though...
You guys have clearly never been to the corner of the street barbecue places in Kansas City, if those are the best ribs you've ever had.
No. Have you had Montgomery?
The neighborhood rib joints in Kansas City are like, oh, man...
Have you had Montgomery ribs?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
But have you had Kansas City?
But if it's anywhere close to the sauce that you brought home,
did you finish that? It's been a while.
I put some on my chicken last night. I had a little barbecue chicken. Oh, absolutely.
It's lasting. I like it.
Yeah.
I gave that to him in July.
That's liquid gold. I'm looking at. I'm doing the. When someone touches it, I'm like, no, that's liquid gold. You get your hands off that, or I'll decapitate your hand. That ain't gonna happen. Not on my watch today, Slick. All right, 330-886-0813, MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Take a time out. Be back with more. Stick around.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts. Boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig, as we have plenty, and I do mean plenty, of stuff on the network tonight. We got 6 games on the network tonight, as well as some swimming, courtesy of Canfield.
Dude, shout out to swimming fans in the area. They have been the numbers at swim meets that we put on have been astronomical, and it's more than just. I get the parents aren't allowed, so you expect kind of big numbers, but the numbers we're getting are more than just parents tuning in. I mean. There's a love for swimming in the area that no one ever knew about, and we've hit gold because we've been doing swimming like crazy. So props to the swim people. And I actually got kind of nostalgic and watched Michael Phelps's 100 butterfly from 2008, where he won by like this much last night.
He had to make sure that he didn't trim his fingernails. It was that close.
I mean, it didn't even look like he should win because the other guy was coming in straight, and he had an extra half stroke. I don't know how he got his hands in there, but that was one of the. I mean, swimming. That's one of the most electric and like kind of like got my that whole Olympics. So
it's up there. It's one of my favorite things to see in the Summer Olympics.
When you think of like 2008 Olympics, that Michael Phelps in that race, not just because it was the one that got him the 7th gold medal that tied Mark Spitz, but just that. Oh man, that was incredible.
All right, know your swimming. So, how many of the forms of swimming can you name?
Well, the butterfly, freestyle, breaststroke.
There you go.
And the backstroke.
Yeah, there you go. So, butterfly, freestyle,
freestyle,
backstroke,
and yeah.
There you go. There you go. Outstanding. Yeah. Good job. So that's and the relays are fun. The relays are fun too.
I watched diving on Wednesday, and forgive me because I can't remember her name, but a girl from Poland came up with a dive, and most of the people have been doing like kind of generic dives, and then she had a dive that had a starting score, a degree of difficulty of 2.4, which like everyone else was doing like 1.0, 1.2, and then she walks up with a 2.4. So I go, okay. She does like a double back twist and then straight into the pool, almost no splash. And I was like, because it was really, compared to everyone else that I saw, it was like.
Yeah, you're just like.
All right.
Yeah, 2.4 in the difficulty scale, and you did this flawlessly. Yeah, give her the gold.
Yeah.
You win.
A 2.5 tuck with oh man.
It wasn't like the dive from Rodney Dangerfield back to school, where he did the dive and then went to another dive and then jumped and yeah. That might be one of my favorite parts of that whole movie was when he did that. That was hysterical. But no, that's one of my favorite events when you watch the Summer Olympics.
Watching the swimming has made me kind of miss the Summer Olympics, and I know that's one of the things we missed out on this summer. And
that's all right. It's coming this summer.
Tokyo's coming in 2021, and baseball and softball are back in it, which I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Even though they're right back out in 2024, which is. And breakdancing is in, which is really. But
what?
Softball and baseball are out in 2024.
Okay, well, that's
which
whatever.
is just weird.
Well,
with the rise of popularity, especially in softball, and you're going to put it in 2020, and then you're going to take it right back out. But then when I saw that breakdancing was
that's 80s
in the Olympics,
they still do that.
I was just like, you. Gotta be kidding me! Softball got X'd, and we're getting breakdancing for what I forget.
That's
I don't
80s.
I don't even remember where it's at in 2024. But I'm like,
What are they going to have? Are they going to bring out MC Hammer and let him do some stuff? Are they going to bring out Vanilla Ice?
Can't touch this.
Really? That's when I was in my early 20s. People were doing that stuff.
That's why I was like, really? We're doing that? Okay. Well,
I remember in broadcasting school, we were doing stuff at an Italian festival, and they started doing breakdancing at an Italian festival, which that just doesn't really go together either, but neither here nor there. And that was the first time I watched that, and I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting. I can't believe they're still doing that stuff. I mean, didn't that stuff go away with hip-hop that was actually something that you could hear from start to finish without hearing or anything else?
No, I guess it's still a thing. I guess the I don't know. It must still be a thing because they're putting it in the Olympics.
Okay, there you go.
I watched ESPN 8 The Ocho,
yeah,
and some of the stuff that gets on there.
Yeah,
that's like I didn't even know that there was.
Dodgeball is.
There was seriously sign twirling, so like the sign that's like this big with the arrow pointed, like the progressive guy, but like they were doing like tricks with twirling it over there, and I was like. This is a thing, and people are broadcasting it, and they're taking it seriously. And I was
Who the hell cares about that? I mean, no offense, and no offense to the gamers, but who the hell cares if you're sitting on your ass and playing a video game? I don't care. Who the hell cares about that?
And the great thing, these signs were filled with sponsorships, so they're getting money, and that's, if you get money doing that, then I care because I'm getting money. So.
Oh my God.
And the same thing with video games, the e-games and the e-sports. If you're good at it and you're good at kind of not just good at playing the game, but good at presenting yourself, you're going to get paid a lot of money. And
that's absurd.
And now colleges are having.
My thumb is world class material here.
Colleges are having e-sports as part of their. So and we had to just. There are high schools that are starting to have e-sport programs, and back when we were in quarantine, YSN was like, "Hey, let's get into e-sports." So.
Well, no, I know that everyone got together and did the which game with the golf
Wii?
game, the Wii golf.
Yeah, and you broadcast it.
And I was broadcasting the Wii golf game.
The youngster on the ninth hole.
The youngster on the ninth hole.
And he hits it. Oh my God.
Yeah. And you got to throw the Nick Faldo accent,
right?
Because the regular people and no offense to Jim Nantz, he's great at what he does. But if Jim Nantz had a British accent or that kind of an accent, he would be worldly instead of just Jim Nantz.
You also got to throw in the British kind of the phrases that they use in the British golf. They're like, that's like a few more inches and that ball would have been mortal.
Yeah. And you're like,
he gave that one the full Monty.
They gave him the full Monty. I was like, what?
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, well, that's good stuff. All right. Basketball on the network tonight. No, I can't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you can't. United will be traveling to Latonia to take on the Bears.
So that's good. You got that one.
Crestview is going to be traveling to Camel. One of the best gyms I've ever been in, and they deserve to have tournaments there in that gym. Hopefully, the new AD Stacy Seepin will get it done.
If they're handicap accessible.
Fantastic basketball player who later went to Youngstown State to play basketball. Yes. Cardinal Mooney will travel to Columbiana to take on the Clippers in their brand new high school. Well, it's not really brand new, but it's new.
The Clippers?
Yeah. The high school's relatively new. What, 10 years? 15?
I don't know. I don't have any remembrance of that gym being different than what it is. They still got the wood bleachers.
So, now, when I was
yeah, like
when I was in school, Heartland Christian wasn't around, and Columbiana was where Heartland Christian was. I used to be Columbiana's gym,
right?
And so instead of the Purple Palace, it was the Coconut Feeders. So there you go. Now it's the Purple Palace. So
Purple Palace.
The Purple Palace. It's purple everywhere.
I know.
I felt like
cool.
I felt the presence of Barney in that place. It was so purple. Good God.
No, purple is royalty.
I know it
stick
is.
with that.
Absolutely.
Don't think about the big dinosaur. Just think
Well,
about
absolutely.
royalty.
Mooney taking on Columbiana tonight in Columbiana. That is a 7 o'clock start. Well, varsity game is supposedly starting at 7. We can tell you officially JVs are starting at 5:30. Whether the varsity game starts at 7, might be a little before, might be a little after. You just adjust. Jackson Milton will be hosting Lowellville. And good to see Lisa Rotuno-Medelski, another YSU product. She is back home coaching her team. And Lowellville's having a pretty good year this year.
I know, that score against Western Reserve, Jackson Milton, it kind of looks bad, but I'll tell you, a lot of people are going to have that happen to them when they're playing Western Reserve, but Jackson Milton's got a solid team, and they're going to be something to really tend with.
Yeah, Lowellville will have their hands full tonight in their gym. Another really nice gym. I like their gym as well.
And I like their floor. I mean, we've been going over floors, and I really like the rocket color scheme, and it was a cool place to do a game.
Yeah, and if I ever came into a large amount of money, my alma mater would have a dark blue, navy blue floor with the you'd have the white for the 3-point line, and you'd have the free throw line and some white in there.
I think that if the key was white too, like inside the key.
Yeah. And you got to have the lane has to be white.
Yeah.
But the 3-point shot and the free throw line and whatnot. But everything else is blue, and then you have the iconic bear on the baseline. On one of the baselines, you have the iconic bear, and then on the other baseline, you have Letonia printed out in navy blue, white baseline out of bounds.
I'd forget
navy blue Letonia.
I mean, if we had the money, I'd forget the bear at the baseline. I'd just have the light blue kind of, you can see it, but you can't bear at half court, kind of like the Penguins have, where it's.
Oh, there you go.
It's there, but you can.
Yeah.
It's in the lighter blue, so
yeah.
It's accented. Oh man, that would.
Yeah, chef's kiss there for Anthony. All right.
Come on,
that's what is that, about $500,000?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's chump change. Yeah, it's chump change. Yeah, no, why not? Why not do stuff like that? Struthers will be hosting Poland, and Jefferson will be moving on down. To the south side, to a deluxe apartment somewhere in South Range. They'll be playing South Range, who, by the way, was on a 2-hour delay today.
They were.
So the game should... Well, Jefferson's up in Ashtabula County, and they got a long way to travel to South Range. So we may...
I think usually it's based on what, like, if it was at Jefferson and Jefferson had the 2-hour delay, then it would be in... But since... I always feel like when the school that it's at doesn't cancel, then it's pretty much in good shape. We were talking to Coach Steve Miller. Indian Creek canceled today, so that's probably one of the reasons why that game didn't happen. If Indian Creek didn't cancel, they probably would have gone down there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if South Range didn't cancel. They were at a 2-hour.
No, they were in a 2-hour delay.
I don't know what Jefferson did.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten. I'm doing that game, so I haven't gotten a text that says it's on.
So if you call up Jefferson and you say Weezy, is anyone going to acknowledge?
Probably not. They'll
probably not.
hang up on me real quick.
All right.
The thing I love about Jefferson is they use the Atlanta Falcons logo, so you can just get a Falcons hat, and boom, you're rocking Jefferson gear.
I've noticed a number of teams that are using logos that look eerily familiar to some of the professional and some of the college.
We're going to ignore
yeah.
That one's original because we're not going to talk about what logo that represents.
What, Girard?
Yeah.
Well, the logo represents
Green Bay.
The other
Green Bay.
Yeah, the other
Green Bay.
college in
Green Bay.
In the Peach State.
It's Green Bay.
Yeah. And it could be Georgia. Or not Georgia. It could be Green Bay.
No, actually,
because Green Bay's been around a little bit longer than the University of Georgia.
Now, Georgia, they make this claim that their G is squished a little bit and a little bit wider, so it's not a ripoff of. And it kind of, I mean, you can tell. It's you put that next to the Packers G. The Packers G is a little bit more of a, a little bit. You stretch it out a little bit from the vertical, and it's a little bit, more of a I don't know what the shapes are, elliptical.
Mhm.
And then the Georgia G and the Girard G are more of a
I like the Green Bay G a
compressed
little
and-
better.
Well, me too. But
Yeah.
I'm biased.
Well, you might be a tad bit biased, yeah. That's, whenever I bring up the University of Georgia, you give me a stink eye. Yeah, so that's...
What? That trash city in Athens?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, exactly. That lightning bolt from Champion sure does look familiar.
But they have the C logo that they use. a lot, too.
Absolutely.
So they have like the
Absolutely.
block C with the lightning bolt going through.
Hell,
it,
my,
so.
my alma mater is not
It's a lot like the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely.
But I'll give credit to some of the schools like we'll say East has an original bear.
Yes.
And like United has an original eagle.
Yes.
And Hubbard, even though it looks kind of like the Philadelphia Eagle, it's different.
Yeah.
It's got a different design, so I'll call it original.
Listen, I absolutely love and
Edison's obviously Kansas State. There's nothing about that.
That's Crestview looks more like the Colorado Rockies, which
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
You're right. Struthers is kind of like that Kentucky Wildcat logo where it's reaching over the K a little bit, but I think it's different. So I'll give them a pass.
McDonald looks an awful lot like Michigan.
Well,
Just,
what can you do with an M? I mean,
well, that's
Marlington looks like Michigan too.
Honestly, I still think
Michigan's more of a block, so it's closer to Marlington than McDonald, right? Because it's a block M for Michigan.
I think so.
So
yeah.
I mean, the McDonald M isn't necessarily a block M.
Yeah.
So it kind of derived from
now. This would be
this is the
dated
conversation we're having.
Yeah, this would be a dated logo for Marlington, but their nickname is the Dukes.
The Dukes.
So Roscoe P. Coltrane or some form of the Dukes of Hazzard, but that's dated. Like I said, that's
Right.
That show's been off the air for
Well, I think
quite a while.
the Dukes is more like they're going for like the Duke of Wellington. He's a Duke.
Now the other thing you could do is
not like the Duke, like he got the Duke. That's not what Marlington.
No. We could go with the Dukes from Trading Places, outstanding movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, but neither here nor there. My favorite logo, and it's the caricature of the Quaker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that logo.
He's got kind of a giddy laugh a little bit.
He's he can be serious at times.
Be serious.
But that's a cool looking logo. I like it.
Minerva, obviously Detroit, and Middle Ridge, kind of like the St. Louis Rams a little bit. I like the Rockets.
Yeah,
it's not the Toledo Rockets, so it's not a ripoff. And
very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. I love our logos.
It's hard. Niles got an easy one because there's not a lot of dragons around. So
no,
nothing to copy.
No, definitely not. No, I love our logos. Good stuff.
Funny story because you go into Cuyahoga Falls, and originally they're the Tigers, and for a long time they used Springfield's Tiger, but they had it yellow and black because they're yellow and black instead of orange and black. Well, that's pretty much copy and paste of Missouri, the yellow and black Tiger that Springfield uses. So they got like a legitimate letter from Missouri that said you cannot use this logo. Like, I don't know why Missouri was paying attention to some school in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, but they got like a mandate from the University of Missouri that said stop it. So they had to add like a little CF at the bottom of the tiger stripe in their logo to change it so they weren't going to get in trouble from University of Missouri. So schools are watching, I guess. So get close, but if you get dangerously close, you could get slapped in the hand a little bit.
I would think that colleges and professional franchises have a little bit more to do than go troll on some high school's site.
It was really strange. It was like it's not even like a local college. It's Missouri. From Columbia, Missouri was looking at your high school and said, "We don't want you using our." It was strange. But yeah, I was talking to him and he goes, because I was like, "Oh man, you can just get Missouri's hats and you all of a sudden have a Cuyahoga Falls hat." And he goes, "Well, that's what we used to be able to do, but they kind of ticked us for that. So now we have to put the little CF at the bottom of our tiger to make sure it's not Missouri's."
NCAA made some news yesterday after the show, they told everyone that they're waiving the transfers.
Yeah.
That
we saw that coming.
Yeah, anyone that wants to transfer, you don't have to sit out for a year if you're going from one D1 school to another D1 school. So conceivably, the people that are allegedly or were supposed to sit out a year transferring from one school to another in basketball, you don't have to do it anymore. So now, even more. Now, I don't even know if it affects Youngstown State, and we probably should have asked Rob this. But would it affect how many teams in the league?
How many?
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. How many teams in the league are going to be affected by this mandate coming down from the NCAA?
And I think the transfer portal is about to get very, very crowded. Because if it wasn't crowded before, now that there's no restrictions about having to sit a year or anything like that, it's going to get very crowded very quick.
Well, and how many freshmen, and we talked about this in the noon hour with National Signing Day yesterday, and all the kids that have made a choice, at least part one of the two-part for football. How many kids after 1 year are going to look in and say, man, I really made a bad mistake. I guess we're going to transfer, and then you don't have to worry about sitting out for a year. That's where you're going to see an awful lot of kids. Just that transfer portal is going to be huge, filled with kids. And unfortunately, and this goes back to what we were saying in the noon hour, you just have to have certainty and don't fall into the pressure. Don't allow a coach or a situation to pressure you into picking something that you're not ready to choose yet.
Hey, we've gone full circle. I like this.
Go.
We talked about this at the beginning. You kind of get it from both sides. You understand that the coaches have a job to do, and they need to get commitments so they don't lose out on a recruit. But at the same time, there's a way to do it, and then putting the weight of the world on this kid's shoulder and telling them you have to choose right now or we're out. It's kind of the reality of the way things are done.
Yeah, and it just like I said, you got to be comfortable where you're going to choose, and so many people are choosing based upon the school and the success of the athletic department instead of where you could play and make the most get the most playing time or make the biggest.
Those are the kids that don't know their major yet. And they're just like, I'll figure it out. I'm going to go there and play.
Yeah. Well, we're all. If you go to Division I, I would venture to say that every single kid, boy or girl, in whatever sport, every single kid is now thinking, okay, if I'm in a Division I school, now I'm also going to be thinking subjectively, or not subjectively, I'm going to be thinking down the road about going professional. Because I'm good enough to be in Division I, by God, I'm going to continue to think down the road, 4 years down the road, 3 or 4 years down the road, and think about the grandest stage of my particular sport, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, softball, whatever sport. If you're Division I, you're thinking that way. And I have said, okay, but understand that 2% of you are going to have that opportunity to be in that grand spotlight. The other 98% of you are going to have to rely on the fact that you get and use the free education made available to you by the university that is, in fact, giving you either a partial or an entire scholarship. Take advantage of them every bit as much as they're taking advantage of you. But for the kids that are, well, I'm going to go to Ohio State because that's a winning culture. Wait a second. Okay, you can do that, but understand every other 4 or 5 star athlete is going to go to Ohio State. Why not instead go to a Purdue or an Indiana or one of these other schools in the Big Ten where you're probably going to get more playing time. You're probably going to have a better opportunity long term to have the scouts see what you're made of. And oh, by the way, even if it doesn't work out, you can still get your degree. I've never understood why people automatically want to say, well, I'm going to go to the blue blood school. I'm going to go to that school. Okay. And if you're one of those kids that can play from day one, have at it. But if I were in that situation, and this is easier for me to do this now that I'm in my 50s, but if I were in that situation now that I'm looking back on everything, I'm not going to go to your school. I'm going to go to a school that is a have-not. Because if I go to a school that's a have-not, now all of a sudden I got a much better chance at playing from day one, and I'm going to have a much better chance of having my stuff looked at because I'm playing from day one in terms of the scouts and everybody.
That's the whole argument. Would you rather go somewhere and play automatically, which obviously, I mean, you go somewhere and you're good enough to play automatically, or would you rather go somewhere that the standard is a little bit higher than where you're at right now, so you're not going to play automatically, but you also have the opportunity to compete for a championship, or your team does, and you have the opportunity to make yourself better by raising to that team standard. So there's arguments for both sides of that. Like,
sure.
So it comes down to what better fits your personality and your major and everything like that. But there's that I want to go play now and I want to go to where I can really make an impact now.
Yeah.
But then there's also I want to raise my standard to this level and go compete for a championship.
Okay, that's fair enough. Absolutely. Now, if I was an engineering student and it came down to Purdue, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, I'm throwing Ohio State out the window because Purdue and Georgia Tech are the two much better for my major. Right. So I'm going to throw Ohio State out the window. Well, why would you want to throw Ohio State out the window? Well, okay. I'm going to not only bet on myself to be on the field a lot quicker than other freshmen, but I'm also going to be betting on myself to go to another place that has a better engineering department. So I'm going to pick either Georgia Tech or Purdue, and whichever one offers me a free scholarship and whichever one looks better to be a little bit further down the road in that sport, I'm going to pick them. 2 of 5 Georgia Tech graduates end up being a millionaire. So there you go. If you're going to pick Georgia Tech, that might be a big selling point. Well, and the other thing is Atlanta, Georgia, West Lafayette, Indiana. That's the other thing. Like, you have jobs. I'm recruiting for Georgia Tech. Yeah, of course you are. Now, this might be against NCAA rules. You have jobs right around you. Like, you don't have to go anywhere to find a job when you're at Georgia Tech because you got Coke right there. You got a bunch of other you got Turner. You got a bunch of companies that are headlined in Atlanta looking for jobs, and it's like, hey, Georgia Tech's right there. That's why 2 and 5 graduates are millionaires. So Anthony Hartwig is not only a YSN personality, he is a double agent who works for Georgia Tech. One time I went to a travel softball just to watch, but I was in Georgia Tech stuff. I kid you not, I was approached by parents. They thought I was a scout or something. I was like, no, I'm just... No, you should have played that one up. I should take like notebooks and start writing. You should have played that up. No, because like with my luck, I would play it up, and then like something would happen where Georgia Tech got knocked for like not allowed to be there or whatever, not registering as a scout or whatever, and then like the program would get hurt because I pretended to be a scout somewhere. So, yeah, but it wouldn't have gone that far. Then the softball coach would have called me and been like, Anthony, what are you doing? Because she has my number, so she can call me at any point. Okay. She would have been like, Anthony. Okay, well, see, what are you doing? Okay, that's where the road stops, where you can't do that. Now, me on the other hand, a little side story. We were in Oxford, Mississippi, where Ole Miss is. Yes. Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss in the fall, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. In the wintertime, not so much. We were there to watch a basketball game between Ole Miss and the University of Tennessee. So we get done. We go out on campus, and there was this bar. And this bar was outdoors, wooden fireplace, whole 9 yards. Beautiful setup. I happen to have been wearing a Sopranos leather coat, and it was custom-made HBO. And I don't know where I got it. I have no idea how I got it, but I got it. So I have this
He knows. He just can't say over the air. How
I have this, and only a few people have this coat.
Someone got whacked.
So naturally, the Sopranos were still very popular because it was still on the air. So somebody came up to me and said, "Man, this coat is gorgeous. Where'd you get this?" And I look over at my friend, and then I looked to my guy and I said, "Season 2, episode 6, I got whacked by Christopher Maltasanti or whatever, however the hell the guy's last name was. We did not buy a drink the rest of the night." I'm just saying.
Now, see, if you should have ended that story in the middle of a set.
Yeah, and then cut or as for an example, we'll be back after the.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back as we close up shop on this Thursday edition of Running Point. Fun show today.
Unlike The Sopranos, we're back after stopping.
There you go, and nobody died. Steve Miller from Western Reserve took the invitation and ran, much like take the money and run. He joined us at 1:10 today. Josh Sigler from United joining the show at 1:30. Rob Schmitz he tuned in at 2 o'clock and called in at 2 o'clock and had a fun show today. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. We even said that the Indians should be renamed the Cleveland Italians and bring back Chief Wahoo, but call him Don Wahoo. And not Wahoo, it would be Don Wahoo.
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 You just hit the jukebox and go, hey.
What?
Yeah, hey.
No.
Yeah.
That is stereotyping right there.
Oh, man.
What's the matter with you?
Doing a Fonz. It's not stereotyping when it's actually a character on television.
But no, well, just because he was Italian, Fonzarelli.
Fonzarelli.
Not all Italians.
Character the Fonz.
Not all Italians go, hey.
Hey.
Some go, hey, oh, hey. And that's who's the boss. Some of those people do that too.
Who's the boss?
Yeah, I'm just
getting
saying,
real classical.
I'm just saying, Cleveland Italians would be an unbelievably great name.
I don't think so.
And you scripted the Indians instead. It's script Italians, green, little tin of green trim, red. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Forget about it. It's beautiful.
Meatball sandwich.
Meatball sandwiches with provolone. You know, I'm telling you.
MVR. This whole episode has gotten me very hungry.
Well, you got to make a stop to the MVR.
I'm happy that I'm having a birthday dinner tonight.
Ah, there you go. Happy birthday to you, sir.
The world has turned around 365 times.
How many trips around the...
This is 29.
Okay.
So,
are you holding after this year? Are you saying 29 and holding, or are you going to dive into the 30 next year?
I'm diving in.
All right. That's good.
3-0, you know.
Yeah, 3-0 is good.
Nothing's going to stop it.
No, absolutely not. When I hit 50, I was like, onward. So, is what it is. All right, that'll do it for the show. Running point done. Power hour coming up. Larry Scragg and I will have the Crestview Camel game
we
tonight.
are out of here.
Indeed. We'll talk tomorrow, noon to 3, YSN Live.